I think we're alive. I was just as in a daydream then. So, guys, I have just started a new live stream. Yep, we've been live for about 15 seconds. So, man, all right. We're just waiting for Beth Bergham, and I'm gonna remind you guys why we are here. No, it's not because of my birthday, 'cause my birthday's on Sunday. We are here to raise money for charity. So, there's two charities. One is Rett syndrome, and the other one is Angelman syndrome. So Brett Anslow, his daughter, like Holly, has Rett syndrome, which is a incurable disease. However, the doctors, the experts are close to finding a cure. When they do, that's going to open up the doors to cure other diseases such as Angelman syndrome. And another super legend, Paul Yeo, his daughter Sophie has that genetic disorder as well. All right, guys, if you are on Facebook, so we're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on LinkedIn. If you're on Facebook, connect your Facebook to restream.io. And then that way I'll be able to see your name and also your handsome or beautiful face. And any questions that you have for either myself or any of the guests, then I'll be able to put them on screen. Man, we've got an incredible lineup as well for this next session. So I think we'll be going for about 4 hours. And the first session was just fire. I don't think that could have got any better. That was, exceeded all of my expectations. So I hope you guys have a pen. I hope you have a piece of paper. And what I'm going to do while we are waiting for Beth, I'm just going to play a very short video. There isn't any sound on it, but there are subtitles. So I'm going to play that. And then I'm going to chase up Beth in the background. So, all right, so I'm just warning you, there's no sound. Beth's here, so there's no sound, but there is subtitles. So I'm going to play that. It goes for about a minute or so. All right, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, as I mentioned at the very start of the video, there wasn't any sound, so I'll make sure that I get that fixed up at some point today. Without any further ado, love this next guest. So Beth Bergham, we've caught up a couple of times, actually, probably a few more than that, and I'm just amazed every time that I speak to her because I always learn something new about her experience, and about her journey. So I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get this legend out here. So a big, massive, warm welcome to Beth Berghan. Hey.
Yay! Thank you so much, Dre, for organising this. It's just awesome to be here, and I loved seeing that piece that you just showed. Even though I couldn't hear it, I could read about it, and it's awesome. I'm so glad I'm here for Rett syndrome and Angelman syndrome. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. So thank you for giving up your time. Thank you for about the gold that you're about to share. And yeah, just you as a human, because I love catching up with Love catching up with you,
Thank
and I know
you.
that we caught up a couple of weeks. All right, I am going to shut up. I'm going to leave you to it, and I will be. Are you good to go? Do you have any slides or
Yeah.
anything?
No slides,
No.
just wanted to talk to people today.
All right. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Berghan, and I help people managers develop their leadership and their communication skills. And what I want to share with you today is some very simple techniques about how you can master your positive self talk. Now, whenever I'm doing anything like this, I find that it's useful to start by actually helping people to understand what I might mean by something like self talk. So, what is our self talk? It's that chatter, it's that noise that goes on in our brain. That it's the things that we say about others in our brain. It's the things that we say about the situation or the circumstances that we find ourselves in our brain. But it's also the things that we say about ourselves. Now, the self talk that we have can be negative just as easily as it can be positive. And often that self talk is influenced by the experiences that we've had, the way that we were raised, the education that we've had, the work that we do, and really importantly, it's impacted by the people that we have around us. So, we are the sum of the five people that we spend the most time with. So, it's actually quite important that we understand what forms our self talk. Now, often in my experience, the self talk presents as a judge, and that judge can be really harsh on us. And very often, what it comes back to is this sense of, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not smart enough. It presents in that way and keeps on telling us in our mind that we're not going to be as successful as we potentially have the ability to be. The other way that it can present a whole lot is, I will be happy when. I'll be happy when I get that new girlfriend. I'll be happy when I get that new car. I'll be happy when I leave home. I'll be happy when my kids leave home. I'll be happy when this relationship is over. I'll be happy when I make $1 million. The really interesting thing about that kind of self talk is that if you're not happy now, it's going to be difficult for you to be happy or to maintain a level of happiness when you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Now, the key thing about our self talk, particularly if it's negative, is that it holds you back. It sabotages you. You could be, imagine this, you're in a room with a bunch of other people. You've gone to a meeting, you're wanting to impress, you're wanting to make a difference here, and your judge, your self talk, is telling you that everybody else looks a whole heap more educated than you do. Everybody else looks a whole heap more confident or more capable than you're feeling. And that's a great example of where your self talk will actively sabotage you. So, the next thing to kind of look at before I give you some great tips so that you can start to better manage that self talk immediately, the next thing for us to have a look at is, why is it important to have a positive self talk? Well, as I said before, you're the sum of the five people that you spend the most time with. And if you're spending time with people who have a negative outlook, who are negative about everything that's happening around them, who are negative about themselves, then what will happen is that will flow onto you. Our self-talk informs and influences our emotions, our attitudes, our behaviors, and our actions. Our self-talk is the core of our approach to life. If we get up in the morning and we tell ourselves that we're a loser, we continue to lose all day. If we get up in the morning and our thought or our self-talk is around, yay, what an awesome day to get up and face the challenge of the world, and we choose a different attitude and we're deliberate about that, our day will be completely different. You may still be interacting with exactly the same people, but you're taking a more positive approach, a more positive self-talk into the day. The other reason that self-talk is so important, that positive self-talk is so important, is because as human beings, we attach meaning to all sorts of things. And what's important, I think, is for us to be able to attach either no meaning at all, so we wait and see how things roll out, and we have evidence of what's going on that we can attach a meaning to, or we learn to attach a more positive a more positive meaning to whatever's going on around us. And an example of that would be if you're at work and you see some people and they're getting together and having a cuppa and you're still at your desk working. The positive meaning to that would be, yay, it must be morning tea time. As soon as I've finished what I'm doing, I'll chuck over and I'll join in with them. And that's a whole heap more effective, a whole heap more positive in your self-talk, a whole heap more validating of your self-worth than if what you do is go, oh, why haven't they invited me? Why aren't I there? What's going on? Which is really your self-talk undermining you, sabotaging you, and putting you down. Okay? So, what I'd like you to also think about is that when we have a positive self talk, we're building our self belief, we're building our own confidence every single minute of every single day. And that's got to be building you towards the success, the potential that you know that you're capable of, and maybe haven't been receiving or achieving recently. Okay, let's have a look then at some strategies that you can start to use right away to master your positive self-talk. I work on these with all of my clients. They're simple, but they're really effective, really effective. And that's why I'm wanting to share them quickly with you. The first one is when you hear that judge in your head, that's saying you're not good enough, you know, you're measuring yourself up. Oh, I shouldn't be here. Hey, this is crazy. I'm not good enough. When you start to hear that, take a second to call that judge out and just be saying to that judge, nah, go away, get out of here. I've got this. Now, when you start to do that, you start to lessen the strength of it and the impact that it has. Now, every single one of us has spent all of our lives building up that judge and allowing that judge to take control. So, using this strategy, you've got to be deliberate about it. You have to do it consistently. And the really interesting thing is that it won't go away straight away. So you can't just do it once or twice. You have to keep on doing it and being really deliberate about it. But that's a great way. It's really simple. You've got to be onto it though. Every time it pops up, send it away. Use whatever language you need to tell it to get out of here. I have got this. Okay, that's strategy one. The second thing is that there are 3 or 4 words that we'll go through today that I'll give you an example of that I want you to start to take out of your language. Okay? Because by putting these in your language, what you're actually doing is putting yourself down. Now, the first one of these is the word sorry. We use sorry all the time. When I talk to my coaching clients about it, they'll come back with examples like, oh, I got to the door before someone, and so I apologize just for being there. We say sorry hundreds of times when it's not appropriate at all. So let me give you a really quick example. You're going to a meeting and you want to make an awesome impression. So what you need to do is you need to, you're running late and you're concerned about this. You really want to get a positive impact out of it. What I want you to do is to compare these two examples I'm going to give you. You're late, you go rushing in, you go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, the traffic was really dreadful. It's really hard for you to be poised, to be confident, and to sit down then and maximize the impact that you're going to take and make at that meeting. If what you're able to do is to walk in and say, I really appreciate your patience. Thank you so much for waiting. That's going to be a completely different meeting. A completely different meeting. You're poised, you're confident, you sit down and you get on with it. I'd like you to think about, as often as you can, replacing the word sorry with thank you, or I appreciate you, or that's unfortunate. Use it and use it powerfully. Now, with my coaching clients, obviously, I dig a lot deeper because there are a lot of ways we undermine ourselves by apologizing for ourselves without going anywhere near the word sorry. That's for another time. That's a deeper conversation. So the second word that I'd like you to think about is the word but. Now, what happens with but? We use it all the time, and it's kind of like a handbrake. It's almost like we're agreeing with people and we go, yeah, that was really awesome. I really love that idea, but, and it's kind of, there's your handbrake. And so anybody that you're communicating with is actually looking for, what's your excuse? What's your no, that we're not going to do this. So I want you to think about replacing but as often as you can with the word however. Let me give you an example of that. We're all ready to go to the beach and everybody's all excited about it, but Heather isn't ready to go. It's a very blaming kind of a word when we use it like that. Think about replacing it with however. And the example would be, hey, we're all ready to go to the beach. Everybody's got their gear together. However, Heather can't leave for another 10 minutes. So be ready to go then. Quite different, much more positive and upbeat. Now, by noticing things like how often you say sorry, your judge, and when you use the word but, you're going to be building that positive self-talk. Simple techniques that you can use immediately. The next word or the next phrase that I want to have a look at is the phrase have to. We talk all the time about I have to go to work, I have to go to the gym, I have to buy the groceries, I have to go and visit these people, right? By choosing to use the word have to, you're actually disempowering yourself. You're taking away your choice. You're putting yourself in a position where you are saying, I have to do this. Actually, you're choosing to go to work. You're choosing to go to the gym. You're choosing to pick the kids up from school, or all of those things that we automatically use have to for. So I want you to empower yourself by shifting back to choosing to, by replacing have to with choosing to. Again, as I've said the whole way through, it's a really simple technique. It will be effective pretty immediately. However, you have to be deliberate about using it. You've got to be really deliberate about making sure that what you're doing is catching yourself saying have to and deliberately changing your language to choose to. And that's a really empowering thing for you to be doing. Okay? Now, another one, and this is again a really simple one, but very effective. We put ourselves down all the time by saying or using the word just about ourselves. I'm just a housewife. I'm just this. I'm just a beginner. I'm just whatever. I want you to start noticing when you're doing this and actively choosing not to use the word just. Just as like an apology, it's one of the ways that we actually say sorry for ourselves. I'm just a beginner. I'm just a woman. I'm just a man. I'm just whatever it is. Actively, deliberately notice when you're using just and take that out. Now, what this should do is give you the positive pride to actually identify this is who I am. This is what I do. I'm not an apology for anything. I'm not just anything. I am, and I'm worthy, and I am good enough. All of those kinds of things that the judge in our negative self talk has been undermining. All of those things that the judge in our negative self talk has had us believing. The final word that I'd like to do, and I'm just needing to check with Dre to make sure I've got time, pretty sure I have. The final thing that I'd like to share with you is the way that we use or the way that we let people know that we can't do something. Now, this is another way that we undermine ourselves or sabotage ourselves without even being aware of it. When someone asks you if you have a particular skill set or if you know how to do something, often we're very quick to say, no, I've got no idea. We can sabotage our own potential when that's what we do. I want you to think about the power of the word yet. Yet. Y-E-T. It's a really powerful word. It's a powerful word for us to use with ourselves to improve and to master our own positive self-talk. But it's also a very powerful word that we can use with our children. Let me demonstrate that for you. If you ask me, do I know how to drive a 5,000, I don't know, 500-ton semi-trailer, I'm going to say to you, I can say to you, nah, no idea. Or I can say to you, no, not yet. And the reason I can confidently say not yet to you is because I've not had an opportunity yet to go and drive one of those. Just as I haven't had an opportunity yet to do or to learn a multitude of things. How does this apply to our kids when we're communicating with them? We need them to understand that they haven't reached their potential yet. They're nowhere near ready to be mastering anything because they're young. They're going to make mistakes. We're still going to make mistakes as adults, no matter what our age is. So what's important is that we say to kids, oh, you're building your skills or you're doing really well, or you haven't learned to do that yet. So that they see yet as the potential into the future, so that yet doesn't hold them back. It pushes them, it motivates them, it springboards them towards learning that they need to take tiny steps. Just as we do, we've all got to take tiny steps towards mastering whatever the new skill is. I'd really like to encourage you to take some tiny steps here to use and to apply really deliberately the strategies that I've given you today. I'm just going to summarize them again. The first one is when that judge appears in your self-talk and tells you that you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're not whatever the enough might be, you call it out. You say, hey, judge, I know you're there. Get out of here. I'm better than this. I've got this. And that when you do that, you remember, hey, I spent all my life building this up. Not going to go away straight away, but if I'm deliberate about it, I've got this. The second thing is to notice when you're saying sorry, when you're apologizing for yourself, when there's no need to. And to use every opportunity to replace the word sorry with the word thank you, to reframe the situation. So rather than saying sorry, I'm so late, you say thank you for your patience. I appreciate you waiting. Perfect example for you. The next one is to replace the word but with the word however. But's like a handbrake. Be really deliberate about noticing that. The fourth one is replacing have to with choosing to. Empower yourself by choosing to do the things you need to do all the time. I'm choosing to spend time here with you today. I don't have to. I'm choosing to spend time with others. I'm choosing to go to work. I'm choosing to follow this eating plan. I'm choosing to do this exercise. Empower yourself and be deliberate about it. The next one is the word just. You're not just anything. You are friggin' awesome. You are friggin' awesome. So celebrate you, empower yourself. Don't compare yourself with others. You are not just anything. Be deliberate about it. I keep saying that deliberate word. I know it drives people crazy, but that's what you got to be, really deliberate about it. And finally, embrace the magic of yet. You haven't learned that yet. You haven't achieved that yet. And use it for yourself and for your children and for others that you interact with as a way of building their confidence to move to where they want to be, and where you want to be. They're the tips that I've got for you. I'm really happy now. If people have any questions that they'd like to ask me, I think we've got a couple more minutes. Dre will pop back to tell us if we haven't, but we've got a couple of minutes, and I'm happy for you to ask me any questions about what I've spoken with you about.
Beth, I just want to say somebody called Mike Tyson because that was a knockout, absolute knockout. And I think it was at the third or the fourth point that you said awesome. You said awesome.
Yep.
You are awesome. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
I think you're pretty awesome,
guys,
actually.
It takes an awesome person to recognize another awesome person. So guys, ladies and gents, right, we've got a couple of minutes. So if you have a question, drop them in the chat screen. And if not, I'm going to keep an eye on the prize. And Beth, what's the best way to get hold of you? And do you have any final words, any dad jokes, any motivational? Oh, I know last time we done a podcast, you were, yeah, I love that one. Absolutely loved it.
So would you like me to tell the same dad joke, or would you like me to give you the same, drop the same quote on you? Which one would you like?
Let's go to that quote, because for me that was just really powerful.
Okay. The quote that I used, that I shared with Dre the last time that we did a podcast was this one. And I'll say it a couple of times for you so that you've got time to write it down. Change occurs when you become who you are, not when you try to be what you're not. So I'll say that again. Change occurs when you become who you are, not when you try to be what you're not. I love that. It's so powerful. It's just kind of really gets into the
Yeah.
core of things. Yeah. And I think that actually, Jay, it kind of sums up everything that I've been talking about today in terms of let's connect you back to who you are. Let's connect you back to who you are by actually working on really deliberately. There's that deliberate word again, but working really deliberately on mastering that positive self-talk.
Love it, love it, love it. That is something definitely that I need to do more of. Beth, I just want to say, you are wonderful. Thank you for all your contribution, all the value, the gold, the fire that you have shared today, and I can't wait to catch up with you really soon as well. So I appreciate you so much.
And awesome. I love it that we're raising money. Is there a link? Like if you send me a link about where people can donate, I'm happy to promote that across my social media. You know, I know
Awesome.
that for Brett and for Paul and for their two girls, we're going to be doing this stuff to make a difference.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. All right, you go, you get out of here. You have an awesome day, and I'll catch up with you really soon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
All right, that was the wonderful, sensational Beth Bergham. And our next guest, legend. I think we were supposed to catch up for the October marathon. I think 120 podcasts in 24 hours. And I know that she was gutted that she couldn't make it. And love this woman to bits. Like her energy, her vibe, her honesty, her vulnerability. Dre, shut up. Let's get her out here. A big, massive, humongous warm welcome to Veronica Bennett.
Hi everyone. How are you?
Muzzin, absolutely amazing. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in my shared office space. I just want to pre-frame everyone. I'm not that great with tech, and we're going to see how this works. And I only read at like 8:30 that I had to prepare the presentation. I just thought we were going to be casually chatting, but I already have a lot of content that I can go through with everyone today.
Yeah. You'll be all over it. All right, I'm going to shut up, and you go do your thing. And with the slides that you've got, I'll put them up on the screen. So if you just share it on your screen, and then I'll put them up.
As in like I press share screen.
Yeah. So if you go, can you see them? There is a microphone. There we go. I hear it.
Yep. So I should go to. Can you see? Is that the can you guys see this screen?
Yes, I can see the. Yeah, I can see the PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna go here. Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Veronica Bennett. I'm going to talk to you about masculine and feminine energy because I was a relationship coach and I worked with hundreds of people. And I'm also going to touch on with you today around the power of communication because I surveyed actually just last week 300 people from different groups. And one of the top 5 responses to why a relationship fails or the breakdown comes down to communication. And so in all our relationships, whether it be our intimate relationships or our working relationships, the effectiveness comes down to communication. And 90% of the success of your relationship is based on communication and the ability to communicate and the ability to resolve conflict. So let's start off with masculine and feminine energy because a lot of people come to me and ask me about this. And I think it's a great place to start, especially as society has really changed in the last 20, 30 years. So what I'm going to ask of you is your participation, your honesty, your trust, your willingness to learn. And if I challenge you in this session today, please just take on the feedback because whatever you put into life, you get out of it. Now you'll learn the difference between masculine and feminine energy and how it will improve your relationships. Now, this information that I'm sharing with you, it doesn't matter if you're in a relationship, you're single, you're divorced, you're in a de facto, you're in a straight relationship, you're in a gay marriage, a gay relationship, we all have within us masculine and feminine energy, and we need to tap into each of these energies in order to be able to effectively create the life that we desire. So I also want to let you know, it's kind of like I do this in a webinar, or we could call it like a podcast, or we can call it whatever you want to call today. It doesn't matter if you've been in relationships and they failed before. And I use the word fail because it's a bit traumatic, to let you know there's no mistakes in life. There's no failures in life, just feedback. So everything in life that's happening to you, every relationship that you have brought to the surface is a projection of the unconscious mind in order for you to heal and to resolve. I went on a massive weight loss journey, so that's a little bit about me. I'm a mum to two beautiful daughters, and I believe in love. And I believe that having connection and friendships and relationships are the foundation of what makes us grow. I love water activities. I love fashion. I love cooking with my kids. I love exploring places, and I love Tantra. Although now I've moved into a relationship with Holy Spirit, being a Christian. So I want to let you start off by saying to you that we can all change. That's where and it starts with you and wanting to make that change today. So masculine and feminine energy, we are here now, and within each of us, we have masculine traits and feminine traits. And on average, I say to clients that a woman would need to have about 70% of that feminine energy and 30% of that masculine energy. And for a man, he would need to have about 70% of that masculine energy and 30% of that feminine energy. And so to a higher level of that, we are actually, sometimes you can be a male that's naturally born in your feminine energy, or you could be a woman who's naturally born in her masculine energy. But regardless of whatever your core is, it's important that we're stepping into each of these energies at the correct times in order to tap out and receive the best that we can from the opportunities in front of us. So if you're a woman and you're sitting in what I call a wounded feminine energy or an immature feminine energy, you're often playing the victim role, and you're feeling very powerless. You're feeling very weak. You manipulate others. You withhold. So sexually, you might be withholding. There's a neediness and a codependency that you will have in your relationships. You're very overly sensitive, and you're overly emotional. And when a woman is sitting in that immature or wounded feminine energy, she will naturally attract, on an unconscious level, a wounded masculine. So a wounded masculine is abusive of his power, dominance. He's aggressive. He often yells and raises his voice. He's controlling, competitive, but not in a healthy way, confrontational, criticizes, often making you feel like you're not good enough, you're not able to do anything right, abusive, avoidant, so they're not able to avoid conflict because they're unable to resolve conflict, because once again they're sitting in that little boy immature masculine energy. They're unsupportive, so at times when you'll need them, they'll let you down, and they're unstable. But remember, in order for anyone to attract a wounded masculine or a wounded feminine, we are on some unconscious level playing out the dance with that. Now, there's a next level, which is what I call divine or natural feminine and masculine energy. And when a woman is in her natural divine feminine energy, she's unconditionally loving. She's understanding, she's supporting, she's nurturing, really motherly. She's tender. She's got lots of kindness. She's very intuitive. In fact, some people call me like the manifestation queen, because when you're sitting in that feminine energy, it's like whatever you can think of, it's just like it comes to you. And it's also called quantum physics. Very creative, feels into things a lot, but is able to be still and in flow, is radiant, surrenders, is sensitive, is emotional, but not overly sensitive and overly emotional, is easing and allowing. Now, when a woman or someone is sitting naturally, the person that plays that feminine role in the relationship, when she's sitting in that power, in that place, she attracts what I call the divine masculine. And the divine masculine is confident. He has inner strength. So while the divine feminine is testing him, he's able to hold himself and his inner strength. He's responsible, he's focused, he's logical, he's supportive, he's stable. He knows his direction, he knows where he's going, and he's going to protect that woman that he's with. He has clarity within himself and clarity within the people around him. He has boundaries. He has courage. A masculine male will be the guy that's leading. So, of course, he has courage. He'll be disciplined. He'll be capable. He'll be assertive. And he'll be certain. So he won't need to go around and ask everyone for their choices because he knows whatever decision he's making, it is the right one for him. Now, the higher level of these is within the feminine and masculine energy is the feminine is naturally receptive, passive, contradictive, intuitive, and she goes inward. Whereas the masculine is projective, active, giving, expansive, outward. And when you're in a relationship, you want to be playing the dance of the polarity. So, you know, you meet someone and you're just like, God, they're sexy. It's something energetically really sexy about them. They might not even be the most good looking person, but there's something about that person that just draws you in. Or if you're lucky enough, you'll meet someone, it will feel like an instant connection. And that will be because the dance of the polarity was so strong between both of you that there was a really strong match. Now, at different times, depending on what's going on around us, we can fall back into, if we're a divine feminine, into immature feminine. And then we will be pulling our partner back into that. So at different times and depending on our attachment styles, depending on our state, because our state is everything. We calibrate in NLP, we calibrate on behavior, and behavior is managed through state. And when you're playing out this dance of masculine and feminine, you need to understand that are these two people that are coming from divine feminine and divine masculine both in a beautiful flowing state where they both can play their roles. Now, one energy is no more important than the other. For example, a woman who say is 70% in her feminine will step into a masculine energy to get her work done, to become resourceful around the house and getting everything done. But as soon as she's done that, she'll go back into her flow. She'll go back into her radiance. She's got lots of joy. She's playful. She's happy. And a masculine, he's leading. He is directing. He knows exactly which way their relationship is going. But at times he may jump into his feminine to be more creative, to be more understanding, to be more empathetic. We need both of these. And in business as well, it's important for both the male and female to jump into the masculine and feminine and play that dance depending on who they're working with. I can tell you my business partner, he's male. And he's very like, we haven't done everything correctly yet. We haven't. And I'm like, everything will be fine because I'm naturally in my flow. I'm like, it will just work out. It always does. I trust. But being the masculine, they're like, all right, we need to know where's the direction? What is the process? What is the logic behind this? So as I said to you, we both have that masculine and feminine energy, and we both need to know that no social norms determine how we are. And this guidance really comes from our heart as to, so this, an example of me being in my masculine energy would be, I woke up at 2:30 a.m. I needed to get some work done because I wasn't well yesterday. And so straight away that I'd rested, the feminine needed to rest yesterday. I moved my calls. I listened to my body. I listened to my unconscious mind. And then this morning I jumped back into my masculine and I worked on some of the things that I was working on. And then again, right now I'm in my feminine because I didn't realize that we were meant to have everything prepared, but I had a lot of content already. So I'm in my flow. I'm in my jam. I know that everything is okay. I'm trusting. This is where the dance of the masculine and feminine polarity will play out in your business and will play out in your relationship. So a masculine male, in order for you to know, ladies, if you're with a decent masculine male, he's stable and he's predictable. He has clarity, he has focus, and he's brutally honest. So if you're with a divine masculine male, he can be brutally honest with you. He can have a vulnerable conversation with you, and he can open up and share his feelings. If you're with an immature masculine male, what you'll find is they'll often share and then they'll pull away, or they can't be brutally honest with their feelings because they haven't learned the strategies to trust themselves in an internal call. So we have shadows and traits within the masculine and feminine energy, and those shadows and traits are a divine masculine male has integrity, leadership, he's trustworthy, goal-orientated, disciplined, responsible, respectful, honorable, objective, intelligent, and we also, the masculine male, the immature masculine male has those traits as well: aggressive, competitive, emotionless, heartless, very stonewalling, controlling. Divine feminine, warm, loving, collaborative, soft, caring, rational, emotional. Bit of a contradiction there where she's rational and emotional, but surrendering, wanting that masculine male to take the lead. Intuitive, very, very intuitive, delightful, heart-centered, empathetic. But the shadows of the immature feminine, she can be controlling, insecure, passive-aggressive, belittling, bitchy, timid, manipulative, naive. Now, I can put my hand up to say at times I have been immature feminine. I'm probably not the only one, and I'm probably not going to say that there haven't been times when people have been the immature masculine, but it's about awareness equals consciousness. Awareness equals consciousness. The more aware you become of your behaviors, the more aware you know that you are leveling up. And remember, we are constantly in NLP calibrating on behavior. So the masculine energy poles between two people create sexual energy and create flow. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone, you're drawn to them, and there is just such a yearning for this person? There's something about them, and you're not really sure what it is. It is coming back to this masculine and feminine energy. And I want to show you about sexual polarity. In order to have sexual polarity, one must surrender, but for a woman to surrender, she must feel safe. So what does it take for a woman to feel safe and secure? A man who knows his identity and direction and where he's going. For a woman to trust, she wants you to lead her. So men out there, if you're listening to me today, we want you to lead. We want you to lead with an open heart where you're able to lean in, tell the feminine what she needs, and then set your boundaries really clear. And as the feminine, we allow you to do that because we trust you enough to know that you'll get there. And that is us surrendering. It's about embracing change. So within this, both parties need to embrace change. Now, in our core, and I started talking to you about that at the beginning of this, we have masculine and feminine energies. And I'm going to go through this little diagram for you. So a girl is born. Say my daughter Mia or Charlotte, they're born. And around the age of 5, Mia starts to learn that, okay, I might say to her, you do everything yourself. Don't listen. Don't rely on a man. Men are horrible. Men let us down. Imagine if you're a woman and you're talking to your child like that. Men let us down. They just keep on letting us down. And so what happens is then we put on a mask and we go on, I can do everything. I can do everything. I can do everything. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. And then you become a teenager and you're like, no boys really like me unless I'm wearing a bit of makeup, doing my hair, being playful. So we go back into our feminine. Oh, giggling, laughing, joking. And then we become an adult in our 20s. And we realize, right, to get into our corporate roles, to achieve what we need to, got to be in that masculine. We've got to be there to achieve. We've got to do whatever it takes. And that's where we're often playing the role of the masculine and feminine. But in our core, in the core of the core, this woman, this diagram here, she was a feminine woman. But depending on the environment and what was around her, because we calibrate according to our environment, she's gone back in her 20s in her masculine. But she'll realize in order to find the love that she desires, it comes back to her being in her feminine. and working on herself. And I was in a webinar call this morning, and I was teaching them around perception is projection. And one of the biggest things that we do as human beings is we stay in relationships when we know that they're not right for us because we're too afraid of not meeting our spiritual needs. So we have innate fears, which is fear of loud noises and fear of falling, and spiritual fears, which is fear of I won't be loved and I'm not enough. So often what happens is when you look at the masculine and feminine, what happens is here's this woman and now she's met this guy and she's like, oh, he's not really right for me, but no one else is going to love me. And I'm afraid I won't be loved by anybody else. So I'll just hang out. I'll just date this person. We automatically know, each human being on this planet, whether someone is suited for us or not. For all the couples and single people that I've worked with over the years, they always tell me on the date of their wedding day, I knew this person wasn't right with me, right for me. I just went through with it. And then I say to them, why didn't you walk away before that? Or what prevented you from leaving the relationship? And they say, because I didn't want to hurt my family, or I didn't want to feel like I wasn't enough, or I thought that they would change after they were married. Let me tell you as well, nobody changes after they get married. They just show more of themselves as to who they are, because for a woman, she feels like she may have secured you, or a man feels like they've secured you, and therefore they're actually putting in less effort. Now, let's look at the opposite scenario of this. The masculine male is born, and the boy realizes that his mother goes, oh, you need to go and do all these things, in order to be loved. So he puts on his feminine energy, thinking he needs to be somebody else that he's not. And then he comes as a teenager back into his masculine energy because he's getting his hormones, they're developing, he's growing. And then he goes out into the corporate world and he realizes that he's not able to achieve what he wants, or he realizes that in order to get ahead, he needs to be a pleaser. How many times has someone dated a pleaser? How many times have you been a pleaser, guys, out there, if you're truly honest with yourself? It's the number one mistake that most males make. Even if you're a male and you're born in your feminine as your core, becoming a pleaser as an adult is unpleasing to a woman, because we want to be pleased, but we don't want to be with a pleaser. So it's a fine balance when I talk about this masculine and feminine energy. But when I strip away all the masks at your core, all we want, and our inner child wants, if I can stop this and see my face, is love. And I don't know where I am, but I'm looking at this. All we want at our core is love. And our inner child has these really, really funny ways of asking for love. It's silly strategies that we've learned along. I'm just going to withhold myself, my communication. I'm going to share too much of myself. Thank you, Paul Yair, for loving this. And yes, everyone, please donate. I've met Paul's daughter. She's a beautiful little girl. This is a great cause, especially as a mum, and showing up here today. And I think there are failures in life, and I believe that not knowing that failure is part of life, and we can use it as a strong motivator to not replicate those failures to generate a poor result. Thank you for who said go, Veronica. I love it, Veronica. Love all of this. I can't see Facebook users, but what I can tell you is there are no failures in life. We only receive feedback. In NLP, as an NLP trainer, I want you, when my daughters are running or something happens, to go, what was the learning? What did we learn from this? Every relationship, what have I learned from this person? Now, I've talked to you about masculine and feminine energy. Let me talk to you about perception is projection. I'm bringing a bit of NLP in. I'm going to get a bit mystical with you. I'm going to go there. You may get triggered, and I've pre-framed you. Every person you with is a person of your unconscious mind. And you date that person, or you're with that person because you marry your unconscious mind for all the stuff to come out for resolution. Let me give you an example. I'm a mum. I'm not for killing people and using guns, right? That's my belief. I will not shoot someone. Killing someone is wrong. But if someone came to hurt my babies, Mia and Charlotte, or my children, my future children, or whatever that looks like, and if I was put in a situation or a state and there was a gun and it was that bad guy against me and the kids, I would shoot first, right? Why? Because I'm a woman, I'm feminine, I'm protecting my family, I'm nurturing. Now, if I sit there and say, I would never do that behavior, and I totally reject that behavior, on an unconscious level, if I was put in that state or situation, I would do that behavior. So anything that we deny in another person is a projection of who we are and the stuff we need to clear. So this morning, what I did with the people in my NLP challenge was I got them to think about somebody that they've dated, and that person has really hurt them. And I said to them, how could we change our projections of this person that we've met or the person that you've dated in order for you to see the blessings and the learnings that you received from this person? And from that, what I will tell you is that when you change those, what they did was she wrote down like 20 things, and I was like, oh my God, this guy sounds amazing. I said, what happened? Like, why did this relationship fall apart when this guy was amazing? And later on, we unpacked that she didn't have the greatest relationship with her dad. She always felt like her dad loved her mum, and she ended up choosing someone 10 years ago, and he was actually already married and she was the other woman. So your deepest fears in your unconscious mind come up for resolution. So if our deepest fears are coming up for resolution and our perception is our projection, then it is our responsibility to look for the good in others. That's why love attracts love. Light attracts light. Now, I'm not saying to be in a relationship where you're not going to get triggered. In fact, I want you to go and date someone that is going to trigger you, because the deepest spiritual work you'll do is in a relationship where you are both fundamentally showing up. You're both fundamentally, not every day is easy, but you're leaning in. At times, your partner is going to be leading, and at times, you're going to be leading. That's the duality and the polarity of the masculine and feminine coming together, especially in leadership. Now, what else do I want to say? Does anyone have any questions? I've got 3 minutes to go on this. I'd love to get some questions around this. I'm about to get kicked out of this office to go back to my desk, but let's do this.
Veronica, man, that was fire. And like for me personally, there were just so many things like going on when you were saying about, because I know that I'm like working through my mummy issues, I guess.
That's okay. The fact that you can at least say that makes you ahead of the game. Some people can't even say they've got mum and dad issues. I'm like, you're so disassociated.
So yeah, just incredible. Love the stuff. All right, I've got a quick question. I'll try and like sneak it in, and I'll just see if anyone else has got a question. So right, with the game that we do, like coaching, most of the people that are really successful are women.
Yes.
And like so, like in our community, like the top 10 would be like women very much in that they're masculine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where am I going with my question? So how
okay, but Dre, can I define? I'm going to make this a little bit easier for you here. When you say success, are you defining that as financial success, health success, relationship success? Because your definition of success is really important.
Okay, so financially, they're very successful, and a lot of them, from what I see, are single, so they don't have, and it seems like they find it difficult.
So let's be really conscious of our words here. One of the things that you can say is my hallucination of this situation, because you're saying to the unconscious mind, you don't particularly know that. It's a mind read. So success, so those women, for example, that are in coaching that have been really successful, and your hallucination is they're sitting in their masculine energy, right? They may be successful from a financial level, but from their relationship standpoint, that they might be, and this is my hallucination, I can't divulge what the information that I do know, but what I can tell you is they're very unhappy that the fact that they haven't met someone that they really love, or they keep on meeting men that are very feminine and aren't leading them, and they feel triggered and frustrated along in the journey. So whereas there could be someone else, because success is defined in many ways, who may not be hitting 7 figures, but might be in the most loving, caring, supporting, spiritual connection relationship, which is triggering them, but they're doing all the work on it. And someone else could value that definition of success as greater than a financial one.
You know what, Veronica, I could talk to you about this all day because I find the subject like really fascinating. All right, so any last
I
words?
was also being really careful of not putting you into anything there, and I was like, where's he gonna go with this? And I'm like, I'm not gonna let him go there.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's cool because I find this subject, like the masculine and the like feminine, just so interesting. All right, so it's 10 o'clock. So do you have any last words before we hand over to Michelle?
No, I think if you're a parent and you're watching this, I think it is your duty to donate, whether it's $5, and just be blessed that how lucky we are that we can take health for granted, and there's others out there that have different challenges in their life and they're still showing up. I would like to thank Gray for organizing this event and getting us all to come on board, because it's not an easy thing to bring coaches around the world that are 6-7 figures. And I want to thank everyone for their input and information and the love that they've shared for me in the chat and for showing up. And just remember, if you want to go to www.veronicabennett.com.au, that's my website, and there I run a monthly challenge where I teach people on NLP. And a lot of my NLP, it's a free challenge, is focused around relationships. And I do that with my business partner, Lehman Pritchard. And he talks from a masculine point. I talk from a feminine point. We talk then from the masculine and feminine because we play that dance of polarity. And we talk through specifically. So what you find is when you come to our sessions, we give a lot of breakthroughs around relationships and context around that. So the next challenge, I believe we're having that in August, the 15th to the 19th. So once again, it's www.veronicabennett.com.au and just click on NLP free challenge and you can go there. Otherwise, I have a Facebook group, as I keep on talking, which is therelationshipqueen.com. You're more than welcome to join that. And if you find me on Facebook or find me on LinkedIn or find me wherever and you got a question and you want to have an intimate private conversation, I do with a lot of people, which is why sometimes I don't have the most testimonials, because people come and tell me their deep dark secrets and we work through that.
V, you are amazing. Thank you so much for all of your contribution. Like, you value the gold and you keep being awesome. And Dakota has a question as well. So do you want to answer that offline? So in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Dakota. I'll come in. Yes, because I'm running late and I'm being disrespectful now. The
All right,
feminine
thanks,
is all over the place. Bye.
Yeah. All right, how awesome was that? So next up we have Michelle SALUJA. I'm just going to get her straight out because we are over time. Hey, superstar, how are you?
Hey, fantastic. What a great opportunity we have here today. Like, it's the coaches, the standard of the information that they've shared has just been phenomenal. And we've only just started.
I know. We've got all day. We've got today, we've got tomorrow, we've got Sunday.
Correct.
All right, I am going to leave you to it, let you do your thing, so I know we're a bit over time, and I will see you soon. Oh,
Side.
okay. All right, wrong one.
Awesome. But look, honestly, what a great cause, and I feel totally blessed to be here. So thank you for having me. But for those that don't know me, my name is Michelle SALUJA, and I'm a psychologist and a coach, and I help women take back control after abuse. But there is another great cause that is really, really, really close to my heart, is really shifting the scope of domestic violence and how we perceive that in the world, and helping people, men and women, really relearn and step back into the healthy relationships and create something beautiful for themselves. But look, let me give you some statistics here. We've got 1 in 6 Australian women and 1 in 16 men who have actually been subjected since the age of 15, so quite young, to physical and or sexual violence by a partner or someone that they were cohabiting with. So that's in Australia. In America, it's 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men who have actually experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. So that might include like hitting, slapping, pushing, something like that. But there are around 1 in 25 men and 1 in 7 women who have actually been injured by an intimate partner. Now, these are horrendous statistics, and they're probably very, very underreported. But this is why this is so close to my heart. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt powerless yourself at some stage in your life? Or you might even know someone who's felt powerless at some stage. That's where I come in. And I help women and men, yes, just truly take back control after abuse, because one of the greatest challenges of going through it is just feeling so completely out of control. You feel lost, you feel alone, and I know because I've been there. So I just wanted to share a little bit about me for those that don't know my story. But many, many years ago, like many of us out there, I was in a relationship and I thought I'd met the love of my life, and it started so beautifully. You know, we were in each other's space as often as we could, and it was divine. And we went on, we had children, and, you know, all the normal stories that happen with that. Though, the thing is every day that passed, it got more unhappy. I become more unhappy. I become more unfulfilled. I become and felt less loved within the relationship. And that wasn't how it's supposed to be. That's not how relationships were. At least that's what Disney told me. They're supposed to be the happy ever after, right? But every day I was living in constant uncertainty about what would happen, how we'd react, how I'd respond to certain things. So I knew it didn't feel right. I'd never been through something like this before, so I didn't really know what it was, but I just knew that my self-esteem, it was at an all-time low. It was really, it just didn't exist at all. And the funny thing is I went into this relationship with my self-esteem quite intact. But here I was feeling so hypervigilant all the time. I couldn't sleep. My parenting was affected, so I wasn't being the best version of myself for my children. My health was affected. I put on all this weight and I just felt so tired all the time. But here I was, I'd put on this facade, put on the happy face, you know, I'd see people, I'd see friends, or we'd have people over, and I'd put the smile on as though nothing was wrong. But in the background, as soon as people left, as soon as people disappeared and that door was shut, my life turned to chaos. And some nights there was moments where that abuse went on for hours, not just half an hour. It wasn't just more of a hectic fight. It was more than that. So here I am questioning what's going on here. I knew this isn't how it's supposed to be, and I wasn't happy. My kids weren't happy. We just weren't a happy family. And I'd started to keep a diary of all the things that were happening, because I was starting to wonder what was occurring in the relationship. And don't get me wrong, yeah, there are people out there who don't know what abuse looks like, don't know what abuse sounds like. And I might not have been beaten or physically attacked, but mentally I was attacked day in and day and night. So I'd shared with my mother actually what was happening. And she came to me and she said, Michelle, if you don't leave this relationship, I have to take the children off you. She's right. But leaving terrified me, staying terrified me. It didn't matter what choice I made, it was terrifying. But I knew something had to change, because I also knew I deserved more. I realized the relationship, it was broken. It was toxic. It was so unhealthy. It wasn't even close to being the relationship I thought it was. And the question that kept coming up in my head was, what am I teaching my children about relationships? What am I teaching my son and my daughter about men and about women, about how to treat them? And how could I have how could they have something healthy if I can't show them what healthy looks like? And that's when I really started to get it. And that's when the pain set in. I had to do something. I had to leave. I should leave. You know, there's always that question, how can someone who loves you do the things that they do to you? How can they take away that sense of self, take away that power? But by the time I left, I was absolutely hollow. I I didn't know what I wanted anymore. I didn't know the person in the mirror. But I did know, I knew I deserved more. I knew I was worth more, even if I didn't quite feel it just yet. And I know that many of you out there are probably feeling the same. They probably intellectually know that you deserve more and are worth more, but it's not quite where it needs to be. Because what you don't resolve in yourself, you pass on to your children. And my goodness, I needed to make a difference. I needed to heal myself. I needed to take back my control and my power so I could be the best version of myself for my children. So yeah, I did leave. And I started working on that relationship with myself. And this is where I actually engaged someone to help me. I stepped into personal development. I listened to people. I went to events. I found that there was another way. And I started to build myself back up. Through the process, I finished my psych degree because I went through all of this while studying. I built up my practice. And now here I am helping women, helping men take back that control. Got a thriving business now. So my life at the other end was not how I'd originally envisioned it, but it's a hell of a lot better. And here I am, I'm taking back control. And this is what I want for you. This is what I want for you. I want to see women, I want to see men take back that control and shift their relationships from unhealthy to healthy. So let me give you a few ways that you can start the process. And the first thing that I always suggest you step into is taking personal responsibility. Now, this is a huge cookie to swallow for a lot of people. But have you ever been in a situation of which you've been blamed for something? Or you might even know someone, know someone who's been blamed for something. What actually happened to the person who was blaming? Did they ever truly change? But why is taking responsibility important? You might ask the question. You might even be saying that, look, I already do that. Though it's such an important component. It's the vehicle that helps you start creating the change and taking back the control that you want in your life. But how do we do this, you might ask? First thing is we've got to be really aware of what it is that we're doing. We need to start investigating ourselves. We need to know what steps we're taking. We need to start looking in. So we need to know the things that we're doing or even not doing that's going to help us move forward and start the healing process, or what we're not doing that keeps us stuck and in our pain. But to do so just means looking a little deeper within, starting to get to know the person in the mirror. So once we're aware and you start noticing, or even you start working on what's working or what's not working for you, then you can start implementing those actions and behaviors that support you in moving forward. You can start breaking those old habits and start creating new ones. And that can be a little scary at times, because I know when there's times when I've noticed and become aware of some of the patterns that I've been running as a result of the old me, of that old me that's been in that abusive relationship. It's damn scary to step into it. But every time I have, I've gained the confidence to become the person I need to be, the person I always knew I was. And we're going to add a little bit more to that. We're going to add a little bit of accountability, because when we do that, particularly when we're wanting to achieve, we're wanting to become more, we're wanting to even just heal, it allows us to become the greatest probability of achieving it. Now, I don't know whether you've actually heard of this before, but it's something called the Hawthorne effect. So the Hawthorne effect is where individuals will modify an aspect of the behavior in response to their awareness of being observed. This means that people will perform better when they're being watched. Now, how cool is that? So if people are actually watching what you're doing, so if someone is helping you stay accountable to the goals or the choices or the decisions or the habits that you're wanting to make to create the change that you're desiring. We're more inclined to do it. And this is how we start taking back control of the life that we want. Another step, our second step, is really understanding those relationships, because this is the key. They're pivotal to everything in our life. But who finds potential intimate relationships daunting? I'm going to stick my hand up here because I know that after I came out of the relationship that I was in, it was terrifying. I had to make it perfect, but I was so scared of getting it wrong. I didn't get anywhere at all. But I know that after abuse, particularly relationships can be, well, they can be challenging. They can be laced with trust issues and all sorts of barriers. And this really includes our relationships with others, the intimate relationships we have, but even the relationship that we have with ourselves, which is so important. Yeah, the Hawthorne effect is real. But in order to take back control after we've been through trauma or we've been through abuses, we really have to learn how to instruct ourselves and just improve on our relationships. We want to know what the masters are doing and not the disasters are doing. So we can actually have a probability of creating choices to get it right, that we can qualify the people that we're wanting to get to know. And when we do that, we realize that we're not really the problem, but we can actually be part of the solution. And when we start educating ourselves around what healthy and functional relationships look like, we start to feel like we're back in control of the ones that we want. And we start to heal the most important relationship of all. That's the one we have with ourselves. And this is so important because when you start creating the relationships you've always wanted, and when you do this with yourself, you actually start enhancing and raising the standards of the qualities of the relationships that we have with others. So the greater the relationship you have with yourself, the greater the quality of the relationship you have with others. We add a little bit of vision to that. And then we start looking at what we truly desire. And it allows us to track the love that we want in our world again. And we start to feel in control of the life that we have. Because when you've been through abuse, when you've been through trauma, that is something you've felt for so long, is that lack of control. And the last step, I love the last step, is to reclaim. And this is reclaim what we desire, reclaim the person that we lost, reclaim our power. I don't know about you, but when I was in my past relationships, I felt so powerless. I felt lost. And with that, there was this sense of helplessness. Maybe this is you. Though, when I started to heal the hurts that had been done, I started to create more joy in my life. I added things that I loved. I found my passion, hence why I'm here. But when we reclaim, we actually reclaim that part of ourselves that we lost, and here we go, we find it again. Understanding relationships while reclaiming my life gave me the confidence to be myself again. When you get lost in trauma, the person that you see in the mirror is not the person you know. And as you start to reclaim those little components back and put the little jigsaw pieces back together again, you start to love the person that you are. I started to believe in myself again. I started to believe that I could do things that I never thought would even be possible. I never even thought that this would be where I'd be. I had a simple vision of my life. But that confidence has allowed me to step into places that even I couldn't envision until I'm here. But sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. And with that, you start to fall in love with life again. You start to feel like you have purpose. So when we start taking back that responsibility on ourselves to help us heal, to help us learn, and just to help us grow, really gives us the courage to take those steps take those steps forwards into places that we've only dreamt about. And that's what gives you power. That's what makes you feel empowered. So what is it that you need to start reclaiming back today? Though we can go from feeling worthless and broken to feeling worthy and confident simply by taking personal responsibility, by creating those relationships that truly rock our world and reclaiming back the person that we lost and just stepping into our true power to become empowered. So for those that are watching, this is a great cause. Not just the cause that I'm talking about, but the cause that we're here today for. So there are links. There are links to donate. So $5, $10, whatever you can afford. This is a beautiful cause. We'd love you to be a part of it. So thanks, Dre. Here he is.
All right, Michelle, do you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, okay, the standard has been so high with everybody today. It's been like awesome. And like what you shared, I could resonate with some of it as well. So absolutely love it. Do you have a couple of minutes to take some questions?
I do.
All right, brilliant. All right, so guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat screen. And if you want your name and picture to show up, if you're on Facebook, then go to Restream. Actually, I think I put it higher up in the chat, but go to restream.io and connect there, and then we'll be able to see who it is that's asking questions. All right, so my question to you would be, what are some of the common patterns? So say like some of the women or the men that come to you, is it really varied, like their situations, or is it, you know, pretty much the same each time?
Look, it can be quite differing for different people. You know, obviously people are in different situations. They're going through different scenarios, different contexts. Some people are in the process of leaving. Some people are in the process of just having left. And some people are in the process of rebuilding. So everyone's at a different level of journey. But the one pattern that I see, if that's what you're asking as well, regardless of the context, is a lot of them are really needing to find their self-worth again. You know, they feel that they're broken. They feel that they don't deserve love, or they're not good enough to have what it is in their life. Or, you know, it's not just even about love. It could be about a career. It could be about their own health. It could be anything. But it all comes back to the same thing, as they don't feel worthy of it. And that's the place we work on.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And how do people, you know, do you have any like workshops, seminars, or how can people reach out and work with you?
Look, people can reach out a couple of different ways. So the easiest way is through Facebook. So check me out on Facebook, Michelle SALUJA on Facebook. I do have a website. You can check that out as well. It's michellesaluja.com if you want to find out a little bit more. Though at the moment I'm taking on some one-on-ones. And so if you're looking for some individual support in whatever it is that you're going through, then absolutely reach out.
Awesome. And say, for instance, there's like someone watching, or when it's uploaded to, you know, to the podcast platforms, and they're like, oh, you know, wouldn't mind being a coach. What would your, apart from run, don't do it, what would your advice? It's an emotional roller coaster. What would your...
Oh, absolutely. So what would be my advice to them to, you know, if they wanted to become a coach?
Yeah.
Look, if you've got a passion, then absolutely go for it. You know, I think that's one thing, is never sit back and just dream about doing something. You know, again, if you're wanting to be a coach, become a coach for the right reasons. Become a coach because you want to leave the world a little bit better than you found it. You know, that's such important advice, because people jump on the platform of coaching and they think, well, this is great. You know, they've got all their own expectations of what it looks like, but at the same token, if we come and deliver from a place of our heart space,
Mm.
you can't go wrong.
I love that. All right, and what's next for you? What's on for the next 6-12 months?
6-12 months. Oh goodness, it's looking at building up some of the challenges that I've got happening. A little bit more of this, which I think is phenomenal, is be able to get that message out there that little bit more, and really just making a difference. So having the opportunity to do some more keynote speaking and just share this with people, and also just working with them more one-on-one, so we can actually shift the scope, shift this intergenerational trauma, shift the change of how we perceive domestic violence, so we can actually create something healthy for our children.
Yeah, some of those stats were really surprising to me when you're talking about Australia
Yeah.
and then like America, and you're right, it is probably underreported. Well, yeah, it's got to be like hugely underreported.
I work with women who aren't reporting. I work with women who are going through this and they're not reporting.
Are they scared of the repercussions? Is that what it is? Or
Absolutely. It's very, it can be a very, very dangerous minefield depending on who it is that you're working with, and you just don't know. 2 or 3 years ago, the lady in the suburb beyond me thought, I'm not going to move because now it'll be okay. Her funeral was a very sad event. So it's a very serious topic that people just aren't willing to talk about. And we need to talk about it, because when we talk about it, it brings it to light. Because other than that, it is the insidious disease that happens behind closed doors. And that's where it grows. And we have to stop it. We have to change it.
all right, so who is this Beth Heaton?
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
my
so
mum.
proud of you, my beautiful daughter.
She is my biggest cheer squad. She comments on everything. She is really just been there. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. She has been there through thick and thin. She has been the person that has backed me up every single way, every single moment. She has held my hand through all the dark days that I've been through. She's seen me at my worst and she's seen me at my best. That's my mum.
Oh man,
I love you, Mum.
lots of love to you, Beth Heaton. So, oh man, I can feel you, Michelle. I can feel you then. I can feel that. All right, I'm gonna cut this because otherwise I'll probably start crying or something. So I just want to say a massive, huge thank you to you for sharing, giving up your time, donating, contributing. Just so valuable, and I can't wait till we catch up soon because we're only down the road. Yeah, so you be amazing, have an awesome weekend, and yeah, just appreciate you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Dre. Thanks for putting this on.
You're so welcome. Alrighty, legends. Not even sure if that's a thing. However, next up we have Mr. Carlos Villarreal. Love this guy. I'm so smooth and charismatic. All right, but before we get him out here, just a reminder why we are all here. So we are raising money for 2 charities, Angelman Syndrome and Rett Syndrome. So we've got 2 absolute super legends. I think Paul Yeo is watching at the moment. Yeah, he is. Yeah. So yeah, Michelle is the best daughter. So yeah, Paul and Brett, their daughters Sophie and Holly have got those disorders. So I'm so grateful, and just how everybody. So at the start of this week, I literally had probably like 30 or 40 coaches that are committed. And last night we got the numbers that we needed, and I've just been so impressed by today, like the coaches that have come on and just like shared and just given up their time. It's just a really special thing. So lots of love for all of you, absolutely all of you. All right, I'll keep going before I start crying. All right, so this next guy, this next legend, I haven't spent enough time with him. We definitely need to catch up. Man, you'll see, he's a legend. All right, Carlos Villarreal. How are you, man? How are you, legend?
Dre, man, mother. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, so there was just a bit of a delay. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, awesome. All right. I'm going to let you do your thing because there's a bit of a delay on my side. So hopefully we'll be all sweet. And just want to say thank you for coming on and like the value that you're about to share. And you need to promise me that we need to catch up like more often as well. Brilliant. All right. I'll see you
for
in a
sure.
few minutes.
And by some chance, if I'm not just sent it straight out. So, hey, well, first, before I get started, a massive Dre, phenomenal. Obviously, we have Brett's daughters that and help out. So, give to this great cause, find some cures, and help them live some healthier. So grateful to be Dre and everyone. I've had a few of the speakers already for me, but it's PM. But Dre, thank allowing me this opportunity. So hey, if we have a VILLARREAL, I live in San Antonio, here in the United States, and I help retail business. And if I let me give you a little bit. So 38 years ago, off my career in retail, and it was frankly wasn't looking to get into retail. High school, I was going to university team, and I needed what do most of the mall, try to find a part. So I grew up as an athlete, playing all the different kind of cross country, tennis, you name it. Love sports. I would say I'll quietly come to that rah type of guy, burning sensation in me, competitive. I wanted to be at the top, and so.
Hey, sorry, Carlos, to interrupt. Yeah, everyone's finding it a bit glitchy. It's someone was saying it might be your pods. It keeps cutting in and out.
Okay, I'm gonna take off the.
Okay, now I can't hear you at all. No, not yet. So you can hear me okay, yeah? Yeah, all right. So in the settings, like at the bottom, so if you go to settings, then you can go to video audio, and then you can select your audio input. So you might have like a range of like different mics that you can use. Yeah, I still can't hear. But this was bound to happen. So we've got like 100 coaches, and I know it's definitely gonna happen over the next few days with do you have another mic plugged in, or oh, I heard something there. Yeah, I think I got you. Yes. All right, I'll leave you to it. Yeah, awesome.
Is that better then?
Yeah, that's a lot better. A lot better.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of hearing an echo.
All right. You good to go?
I'm good to go. I'm just hearing like an echo, but as long as everyone can hear me okay.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kick on. So thanks, Ray. So anyway, I think I was talking about finding my part-time job, and it was totally by accident, getting into retail. And so I still remember that first time stepping on the sales floor. I was really nervous, didn't know what I was going to say to customers as they were coming in. But anyway, I found out quickly that I love helping, customers out. And a couple of years later, at the age of 19, I found myself managing my first store. So I was excited, but I was nervous as can be. I'm like 19 years old. I don't have a lot of knowledge about retail, but they trusted me enough, and I was managing my first store. After managing about 3 stores, I was then promoted to a district manager position where I frankly was managing 1 store and all of a sudden was responsible for 30 stores, 30 plus stores. So I worked for that company for about 18 years, went on to work for another company for 16 years where I was a business consultant, became the sales director, had a team, and we would work with business owners to improve their business. And the reason I want to bring this up is because, I learned so much. I mean, there was a lot of wins, but there was also a lot of challenges and fails. Excuse me. So, it was quite a journey, but, when I help out business owners, when you hear companies such as Amazon, Starbucks, Apple, Zappos, like what comes to mind when you hear these type of companies? No, I'm not looking. The answer is not overpriced coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, so that's not going to bother me. But what all of these great companies have is they have great people, they have great processes, and they have great products. And these are the exact same areas that I was taught as I was coming up in retail over 35 years ago. And so these are the same areas that I specifically work on with my retail business clients to improve their business and gain massive growth. So I call these the 3 Ps. So people, processes, and product. So the first P, people. So think about it this way. People can either create or they can destroy your business. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you have the right people on your team, they're going to embrace your vision. They're going to really take ownership of the business that you're creating, and they're going to pass that on. That's going to come through when they're taking care of your clients. However, if you have the wrong people, unfortunately, they're not going to care. And worse off, they're not going to take care of your clients. And that's going to be a detriment to your business. And, again, coming up in retail at such an early age, I was taught and raised that, retail was all about the customer, about the client. And I believe that. And I still believe it's true, but on my journey, I also came to the realization that, yeah, the customer is very important. I'm not sure that I really consider them to be number one. The people that I thought should be number one should be the employees, the team members. Because as business owners, when you treat your team members and your employees like they're number one and you're treating them with care, guess what? As a result of that, they're going to be able to reflect that when they're taking care of your clients and your customers. So there are 3 things that every business owner should do to make sure that you have the right people in place, you have the right team. And it all really starts on day one. When you hire someone, communication is key. So it's about communicating about why your business exists. What's the purpose of your business? How did you find the company? And then also talk about the standards that you want to be able to deliver to your clients and your customers. The second thing is training and developing. And gosh, you know, when I take a look at businesses out there right now, there's a lot of great businesses, but there's a lot of them that are really struggling. And it really comes down to the great ones, they're spending the time, they're spending the money to train and develop the people. However, the ones that are struggling, they're not doing anything about it. And unfortunately, in today's economy, like finding great help, it may be a challenge, but guess what? I remember, you know, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, everyone in retail, or maybe you have a restaurant or something, everyone always talked about how challenging it is to find the right people. So that is not anything that's really new. You know, finding the right people, it's always been a challenge, but there's a process to that. You know, so we've got to train and develop our people so that they can definitely take care of your clients and your customers. The third thing that must happen too is, as a business owner, is to coach your team members. And that may sound like very basic, but you know, every team member requires feedback. You know, they should know like how well they're doing, or if there's something that they can improve on, like what can they do to improve that? You know, maybe there's some role playing that can be done so that they can improve. But there's a statistic out there, and a lot of the times people think that people will leave a job or a company because of the money or the boss, and the boss may have something to do with it. But a lot of the times people leave a company because they don't know how they're doing. You know, they're not getting any kind of feedback of, you know, what are they doing well at? You know, when was the last time that they were recognized for a job that they did great, or maybe even some constructive criticism? So those are the three things that every business owner needs to ensure that they're doing with their team members, you know, which is communication, training, developing, and then giving them the proper coaching. The second P is people. And, you know, the second P is processes. And for today, I specifically want to talk a little bit about the selling process, because I have seen a huge shift in today's environment from the way it was 10 to 20 years ago. And what I mean by that is that, look, what's the saying? No one likes to be sold, but they love to buy. And, you know, when you walk into a place of business, like, you don't want like that salesperson that's just hovering over yourself and trying to push product of things that you may not even need. Today's environment, I've actually observed something different, and I'm hearing this from clients and many business owners that I speak with, and it's the pendulum has actually swung. And what I mean by that is that instead of people really going out of their way to take care of clients, they're actually a little non-existent. You know, that's a nice way to put it. So, you know, when it comes to the selling process, this has to be a process that's definitely focused on all about the client. You know, it's about being attentive. It's about being observant. It's about getting to know everything that you can about your client. You know, what are they looking for? This is called like the discovery process. You know, and once you have a great understanding, then you can suggest some different options to resolve their problems or their challenges. You know, because at the end of the day, customers, they want to be heard, they want to be understood, and they want to have all of their needs, you know, met without someone that's really just like kind of pushing some product, you know, that they may not need. So that's the important thing about the selling process. You know, selling is really serving. And, you know, it's about finding everything you can out about the client and then, you know, resolving their issue. So the third P is product. And when I talk about product, I'm not talking about something like a specific type of product, but I'm talking about the product of the business. And I like to call this the client experience. And this kind of really flows from having the right people and having the right selling process to the client experience. So the client experience it's very simple. It's everything that the client is experiencing when they come into your place of business. And actually, it actually starts right before they come into your business. So when they're walking up to your location, your restaurant, they're already making some impressions about your business, and so they're using all of their senses. They're looking at your place of establishment. They're looking at your place, visually. They're walking in, and again, they're using all of their senses. They're seeing like what's right in front of them. So what do they see? What do they smell? Do they see a clean store? Do they see a clean environment? Or is it maybe cluttered? And so, the most important thing, as I talked about with the selling process, is making sure that your team members are there to help your clients, resolve their needs. And it's not about like being right on their back. It's just letting your clients know that they're here to help you when you're ready to make that decision. And so I'll share a quick story with you about one of my own experience that happened a few weeks ago. And here locally, I went to a high-end department store, and I went into the men's department, and I was going to look at some specific product. And I thought, great. I see like all these salespeople. There must have been about 6 salespeople, and it's a pretty small area of where I was wanting to shop. And so I'm there, and I start to pick up some product, and I'm like picking up the product, I'm putting it back on the shelf, and I'm waiting, and probably after a couple of minutes, I haven't even been greeted. No one's come up to me and asked how I'm doing, if I maybe need any help. And so I just continue to look at some product, and 5 minutes come, and I'm like wondering, what's going on. After about 7 minutes, I thought somebody was approaching me, but he approached me about 2 feet away. And he pulled out a little ladder, and he got up on the step stool, and he was fixing some merchandise on a higher shelf. And we were right there, literally 2 feet away. And I didn't see I didn't hear a single, "Hey, sir, how you doing?" Or, "Hello, I'll be right with you. Can I help you?" I heard nothing. There was silence. So I just really started to observe around. And I happened to notice a lady at the counter area. And at first I couldn't tell if she was a salesperson or another customer. And so I quickly learned that she was a customer. And when I looked at what she was looking at this male and a female, and they were talking, and they had their phones out, and they were sharing some information, and she just kept on staring at them. And then all of a sudden, this female, like, she looks up and she asks the lady at the counter, "Oh, ma'am, excuse me, but do you need any help?" And the customer actually says, "Yes, actually I do, but I didn't want to bother your conversation." I thought that was classic. And so the salesperson came over, helped her out, got the answer to the question that she needed. And then she noticed me and she said, "Sir, have you been helped already?" I said, "Nope. I've been standing here for over 10 minutes and you're the first person that I come across." And so I decided not to make a purchase or even pursue what I was looking for. I always like to try to keep my money in local businesses, but I also want to be able to give it to the people that are willing to just serve. I'm not looking for any special attention or VIP status or anything. I'm just looking for someone to say, "Hey, we're here to help you out. How can I help you? And how can I serve you today?" So that is a little bit of a customer experience that I had just a few weeks ago. And so, as a business owner, when you're thinking about that, you really want to think about you know, what are clients going to remember when they leave your place of business? You know, is it a memorable experience? Is it a frustrated one? Because this is all a culture that you can help your team members create to grow, you know, your business. And so, really, at the end of the day, it's about, was the experience so amazing for your clients that they're going to want to return to make a purchase, you know, hopefully again at your business? And are they going to tell their family and friends about how amazing your services and the great product that you have and great people that, you know, your business is going to really, you know, take care of itself? So, you know, when you have the right people and you have the right processes and you have the right product, the 3 Ps, they're very basic, but these are the foundations of any business, and they're actually very simple. You know, business isn't always very easy, but there's actually simple processes that any business owner can do if they want to experience massive growth. So I hope that this has been helpful. And Dre, I think I will have you back on and see. You look like we might have time here. Hopefully,
Yeah.
coming through okay. So.
Hey, Carlos, I just want to say a massive congratulations on that. Could you still hear the echo in the background?
I can hear you fine. It's when I speak, I hear a little bit of echo, but I can.
Yeah, I could hear it, and towards the end, it did get a little bit glitchy. So I was concentrating like really hard. So I love the P's. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, this is your opportunity to drop them in the chat right now. And I'm gonna So my question for you, Carlos, is probably a couple of questions. So the people, or because is it retail businesses that you coach?
Yep.
Yeah. You coach anyone outside of that, or is it just strictly retail?
So no, I have some other clients, but like retail, like restaurants, I have a couple of restaurant owners.
Yeah.
That's very similar. It's a 4-wall, you know, brick and mortar. I have a couple of coaches that I actually coach as well, but most of my clients are small business owners.
Awesome. And what are some of their common like frustrations? Like what do they come to you with? What sort of problems? Is it team problems, or is it, like finance, or is it something different, or what are the common
Yeah,
patterns?
you know, Dre, what's happening right now, it's kind of, I guess, ironic, because a lot of business owners with the economy right now and coming off of the whole COVID situation, they have uncertainty. But when I think back about it, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, business owners, they still had uncertainty. It was just a different meaning that they gave it based on the atmosphere of what was going on. And so, like right now, one of the biggest frustrations that many business owners have is they're stressed out and they're overwhelmed, you know. And the reason for that is because they work in the business. So say, for example, like a retail business owner, they may still go to their location, they may have a manager, they may have some team members, but they're still working in the business in a lot of cases. And there's a big difference between working in the business as compared to working on the business. As a business owner, they want to get to the point where they're working on the business and work on the planning, work on the strategy, working on how they better train and develop the people and bring that to their team. So I really help them to get extremely clear and focused on what are the key areas that they need to really spend time on to accelerate their sales and the profits.
Brilliant, thank you. And a couple of questions. What's the best way for people to get hold of you? And do you have any programs, workshops coming up?
Yeah, thanks, Ray. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. Carlos Villarreal. You don't have to pronounce it like I do, but that's VILLARREAL. Facebook
Yeah.
or on LinkedIn. On Facebook, I do have a free group where I provide a lot of content and value. It's bizownergroup.com. So BIZGROUP owner OWNER.com. That's my free group. And in there you can find out information about my upcoming challenge on August the 15th.
Awesome. All right. After this, when you depart, are you able just to write that link that you just mentioned into the chat on here? That would be awesome. So people
Absolutely.
can jump on it. And all right, how much long we've got? Oh, we've got about 5 minutes. So do you have, something that you'd like to leave us with? Something inspirational, something motivational, something empowering? Or if you've got like a dad joke, I wouldn't say no. Have you got anything that you'd like to leave us with?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have any dad jokes, Dre. So, yeah.
Get out.
I was playing in my mind, like if I tell a dad joke, I hear Dre saying, "That's corny." Look, what I can leave everyone with is that when business owners, when they understand people, it makes it a lot easier on understanding the business and what they can do to improve and grow their business. I love this quote by Tony Robbins, and he says, "Business is a spiritual game," and it really is. It's a spiritual game. It's about yeah, I think I've seen Paul's comment here. Yeah. And it really is about a spiritual game and just like really understanding people. And it's just like, the KISS method, keep it simple. So.
Awesome. Just to say this message from, was it Jess? Okay, so it seems a lot of businesses and coaches are more obsessed with return on investment, profit, and making 10K months. Do you have a story where a client of yours started concentrating on the customer service and increased their profits? Oh, Jess. Oh,
yeah,
Jess.
Yeah, great comment. I've got quite a few. So look, when it comes to business, there's only 3 ways to grow a business. So number 1, you can increase the number of customers that you have. Number 2, you can increase your dollar per transaction. Or number 3, you can increase the frequency that your customers, your clients buy from you. And so I've used this strategy with really all of my clients, but one in particular, Bob, comes to mind. And, for Bob, it was just a matter of we adjusted some of his pricing, but more importantly, we also implemented like a referral program. And referrals are free, and in some cases, some business owners, they may give like their customer like a $50 promotion or something, and even to the incoming customer. But Bob really, implemented a referral program, and I worked with Bob. This was last year, and after of about 6 months, his sales went up by like 78%, I think it was. And it comes down to the, like what I talked about earlier, the client experience. There is, I use my own personal experience of not buying from that high-end store a few weeks ago, but people want to spend money. They really do. But if there's not anyone there in the store to help them out, or we're not asking, the right questions or the right selling process, then, people are going to take their business somewhere else. So that's what I'll leave you with. And Jess, I hope I answered your question.
All right, Carlos, I just want to say thank you very much today, for coming on and just giving us some fire, some absolute rockets. So really appreciate you. And that was one of my favorites as well. The business is a spiritual game. Because yeah, that really. And Jess says perfect. All right, Carlos, what time is it where you are?
8 o'clock p.m. So evening, we're good.
All right, awesome. All right, you go and have a fabuloso weekend. Appreciate you for coming on, contributing, donating like your time, money, efforts. Yeah, it's just awesome. Yeah, thank you. Love the peas, and yeah, thank you for answering those questions as well.
Yep. Thank you so much, Dre. Really appreciate it.
You're so welcome, buddy. All right, see you soon.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I can see Q in the background. So Quang knew him. I'm not sure if his camera's working. So, all right, let's do it. All right, Q, are you there? It is your time to shine. And if the camera's not working, this is going to be very awkward. So, let's see if we can hear you.
It's working on my end. Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
I need to change the camera in here. Hang on a sec.
There we go. Yeah, so can you see the settings at the bottom?
Mate.
So if you click on the
Here we go.
settings.
Here we go. Hey.
Oh, yes, he's hiding. My main man. How are you, legend?
Mate, I am well. I'm well. I'm very thankful to be here because I actually lost my voice earlier in the week.
Did you?
Yeah, so Saturday, like I got a bit of time for a little quick story, right? So I normally I have like sinus problems, right? So, you know, I have polyps which blocks my nostrils, so it makes it really hard for me to breathe through my nose. So I use a saline wash every night. You know, I normally do it before dinner because when you spray something up there, stuff comes back out, right? So Saturday night, I went to a 40th birthday party, and my number one pet peeve is going to bed with product in my hair, right? So I get home, I hate it. I can't sleep. I'll lie there and I'll toss and turn, and no, I've got to get up. All right. So I'm washing my hair, you know, having a quick rinse, and Carly, my beautiful wife. She goes, "Hey, you gonna spray your nose?" And this is like late in the night. So, oh, okay, yep, spray. And then so, you know, naturally when I'm spraying, you know, it's got to come back out. But because I went straight to bed, I had all the saline and all the mucus in the back of my throat. And so when I woke up Sunday morning, it was like, what's wrong with my throat? So it's just been irritated because of that. It's like, oh, guys, no flu, no COVID, I'm good. Just a bit of throat irritation on my end. And I completely lost it Tuesday, Wednesday, couldn't speak at all. So, mate, I'm glad I got it back just in time for this.
Me too, and I'm glad you're here. So, from memory, was it sales language that you were?
Yeah, so just a bit of a sales thing today because, you know, it's what I'm good at, and if I can share something to enlighten and help others, then why not, right?
All right, I'm gonna have a look at this comment for best training advice ever. No product in hair. Love that, Jess. All right, I'm gonna leave you to it. You do your thing, and I'll see you very shortly.
Yeah, awesome. So, hey guys, for those who don't know me, my name's Quang. Most people around the world, most of my friends, most of my family, they call me Q. And what I do is I specialize in working with tradies to help them put their tool belts down permanently. You know, so one way that I help them with that is to fine tune their sales process. So this is one thing that we often, hey there guys, love all the comments, really appreciate it. Thanks, Paul. Hey Brett. And this is one thing that a lot of business owners, you know, that when they get into business, don't really learn or have the skill set. They think that getting into business is essentially, you know, just doing what they do best. So whether you're an IT technician, You know, whether you're a hardware person, whether you are a marketer, wherever you build websites, whether you're a tradesperson, a electrician, a plumber. You know, a lot of these people, when they first get into business, think that it's just them doing the work. Whereas, as you guys know, it's so much more than that. So much more than that. So, one thing that, you know, they don't particularly know or fumble their way through is mastering a sales process or mastering the key elements of sales. Right? It's like if you go to a gym and you just say like, hey, I just want to lose weight. I just want to get fit. Like, you don't know really what to do. Right? So you've got to rein it in, and you've got to have some structure, and you've got to have some key target areas so you know exactly what you're doing to get the best results. So for those, and we're still on the gym example, if you say you want to not just get healthy, but you say you want to drop down to, say, 15% body fat. I'll be honest, I'm about double that. But if you want to like lose body fat, and if you want to improve your endurance so that you can run a marathon, then you know what you're working towards. Okay. And same as with your language in your sales process. So, like, I'm not here to tell you exactly what sales process to use, because everyone has a different style, everyone has a different methodology, right? But what I can tell you and what I can share with you are some key elements that will help you not only fine tune your delivery, master your conversion, but ultimately make it a no-brainer for them to work with you. Okay. But before I get into that, guys, I'm just going to share a little bit about myself and how I actually got into this point, because Dre's just dropped me here on my own with a croaky voice. So, love you, Dre. So, guys, my passion for language, my passion for human psychology actually comes from growing up in a family business. All right. So I'm a first generation refugee. And what that means is my parents fled Vietnam at the back end of the Vietnam War, made their way to a refugee camp. And, that's where I was born. Shortly after I was born, I was granted asylum here. We were, not just me, but my whole family, my parents and I, we got granted asylum here in Australia. And being new to the country, not knowing the language, not knowing the social norms, they reverted back to what they knew, which was to sell, which was to start a business. And so from the ages of 7 and 8, I was working in the family fruit shop. And so from there, and the reason why they got me working there is because I was the first one in the family to formally learn the language, all right? The first one to formally learn how to write, read in English. So being that for my parents, I had to learn how to translate, how to negotiate, how to compromise on behalf of my parents. So from there, I went into psychology, majored in that as well as linguistics. And, from there, just working along and packaging what I do now, which is really, really important. Okay. And which is what I love as well. So there are three key elements to, fine tuning your sales process, your language process, your sales conversion, right? And this can be applied to any sales framework that you guys are already using, because I'm sure that you guys have invested in yourself, have just come across many different sales frameworks, 5 steps to sales, 6 steps emotional based, handle your customers and clients with any objections. And they're all great. They're all great. But if you take those frameworks away, it comes down to three key things. Three key things. All right. And number one is this. You need to have the right intention. All right. You need to know what the purpose of that conversation is. And you need to make it powerful for you. And that's really important. Hands up, you guys like, oh, I can't see anyone, right? But if you can, just drop a comment if you like sports. In particular, if you like soccer, right? I love soccer. I love soccer. I grew up playing soccer my whole life. Yeah, sports. You know, I love soccer. Like, and my boys, football. Yes, football. Depending on where you come around the world, but you know, I love playing it. I love watching it. Just for those who know me a little bit, I've had every FIFA on the PlayStation from FIFA 98 right up to FIFA 2020. All right, I've stopped the last two. Yeah, rugby sports, awesome. So guys, yes, Jess, that's also the reason why I watch sports, so I can see men in their short shorts. But every person who steps out on the field, right, knows their role, knows their purpose, knows the intent that they need to go out with once they cross that white line, right? And if they know their intent, whether it's to attack, whether it's to defend, whether it's to mark someone out of a game, if they know their intent, they're gonna do it so much more engagingly, and to be much more energetic and much more driven to it. And same as in having a sales conversation, you need to know your intent. And here's the thing, guys, your intent also sets the tonality that you will have in the conversation. All right. I'll say that one more time. Your intent will determine the tonality that you will have in the conversation. So if your intent is to close them, to take money of them, to get them to sign a contract, to put them into your program, then you're going to come across as a salesperson. You're going to be greasy. You're going to be slimy. You're going to be pitching. You're going to be that used car salesperson. But what if we redefined that intent? What if we made that intent? Instead of trying to get them into your program or to sell them something, what if that intent was just to see if you can actually help them, to be curious about them, to see how you can support them? And already you're coming through a different lens. You're coming through a lens of curiosity, empathic, understanding. So I would encourage you, first and foremost, to fine-tune or work out the intent in which you're having these conversations. All right. Cool. I like that. Guys, give me some feedback. It's really weird. I'm not used to talking by myself. I'm always used to getting some feedback of someone. But I really appreciate that you guys are on here today. So one, set your intent. Set your intent, set your tonality. Guys, two, notice what part of your body you're speaking from. All right. And I don't mean like notice if your voice is coming from your lower abdomen, or you're speaking through your vocal cords, or you're speaking through your throat. Not at all. When we speak, we generally come from two places, right? One is the head, and two is the heart. Okay. And here's this, guys. When you speak from the head, when you speak from the head, it generally means that you're thinking, you're planning, you're worrying about what to say next. You're in the future, essentially, right? But the key thing I want to point out there is you're not listening, right? You're not listening. If you're worrying about what's coming up next, it means your focus is on you. And when the focus is on you, you're always going to stumble, you're always going to mumble, you're always going to stutter, and you're always concerned about what, if you're going to say the right thing. And we're doing this thing here today. We're doing this event here today for specifically Brett and Paul's kids, doing some fundraising for their conditions, right? But for everyone else who has kids at home, when they get hurt or when they get upset, how do you know what to say? How do you know you're saying the right thing? Because you're coming from a space of love, a place from your heart. So when you speak from the heart, chances are you're always going to say the right thing. So tap into your heart space, even when you're having a sales conversation, because you will always know what to say. Yes, have a framework, have your sales framework, all that kind of stuff. Have it as a guide, but tap into the heart, and you will know that you will always say the right thing. So having the intent, right? Recalibrating your intent so that you can be curious about the other person, so that you can focus on them, so that you can support them. Yeah. But then speaking from the heart as well, and really, you can't go wrong. You're going to always say the right thing. But if you really want to maximize, your conversions and make sure you nail your sales process, you need to learn a couple of linguistic language skills as well. And I'm going to share a couple of these now with you. Yeah, that kind of will make it a no-brainer for these guys, whoever you're talking to say, hey, shut up and take my money. I want to work with you in whatever situation. All right. It is so true, Jess. It is so true. So when in doubt, throw the notebook away, throw your notes aside, and just tap into the heart space, and you will automatically say the right thing, because we're inclined to do what's best for others. It's our natural state. It's our natural response. So you guys, excuse me while I have a quick sip of my tea to give my throat my voice a little break here. And awesome, guys. So guys, a couple of language tips to support you, through here is, guys, we've all been to the markets, we've all gone to a store and we see something that captures our attention. So we pick it up, we have a look at it, and then the person comes across, the salesperson, the market store owner, they come across, and what is it they normally ask you? They normally ask, are you interested in that? And what's your first reaction? I don't know about you guys, but when I'm at the markets, I love food, right? Like, look at me, look at the size of me, right? I love food. I love tasting all the chutneys and chili and all that kind of stuff. So when I'm picking up a chutney jar and they go, oh, cool, are you interested in that? My first reaction is to put it back down, because now I know there's a sales conversation, all right? The word interested is connected to sales, right? You can't get that sales vibe when someone asks you, are you interested? For all you business owners out there, we need to be conscious of the words and the prehistoric attachments that come with it. So instead of asking, hey, are you interested with that? One key word you can replace that with is curious. Are you curious about how we organically source our chilies to make our chutney? Yeah, of course I am. Curious just opens you up for conversation, opens the other person up for conversation, because it makes them lean in. All right, so 1, use the word curious, right? 2, guys, here's one thing that pretty much almost everyone, bar a few people, don't really like doing, and that's pausing. Pausing is really important when you have conversations. It's important for 3 reasons. Okay? It's important so that it allows the other person to have a moment to take in everything that's been said. Yeah? It allows them to process all of the details, all of the information that's been brought up in conversation. 2, pausing gives them a chance to share a response. And if they're sharing a response, it means it's giving you a chance to listen to them. Right? That's really important. Okay? And the last thing that a pause does is that it removes all those filler words. So all the ums, the ahs, the aha, all those little things, because you're a little bit awkward, or you may not feel like you're in a power of authority just yet. But here's the thing, by pausing and by removing those filler words, it actually enhances your authority. So pausing is a really, really great skill for you to master in conversation. It's one of the essentials. Okay. Another linguistic tip that I want to share with you guys right now, and this is one of my favorites. This is one I teach to everyone. All right, is when you're asking a question and you're fishing for a yes, how do you feel? You know, if I'm at a store and they ask me a question and it's feeling for a yes, I feel reluctant to give it to them. You know, I don't want to give, I don't want to give that. It feels slimy. It feels greasy. You know, because we're programmed that if we answer yes, someone's asking for something. Yeah, most definitely. So guys, learn how to ask no questions, because it's easier for us to say no to something. All right. And what do I mean by a no question? It means like, it's kind of like a 2-pronged question to get what you want. But the first question, I've just seen some comments. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, really appreciate the love that I'm feeling from you guys. And host, I think that's Dre. I feel you too, brother. So you lost my train of thought, mate. Oh man, what a jerk. But the no question is really important. So it's easier to say no to get a result that you want. All right. So what do I mean by that? So if you actually want to have a coffee with someone, you know, the first part, you make a no question relevant to a personality trait in some capacity. So something along the lines of this. Look, would it be rude of me to buy you a coffee just so I can get to know more about you and how you operate? The key is in the first part there. Would it be rude? No, it's not rude. Okay? Because 1, it's easier for us to say no. But 2, if they say yes, they're calling you rude to your face. And as human beings, we never want to think of anyone in a negative light in public, in front of anyone else. Okay, we may do it in the background, gossiping away, but we'll never say it to their face directly. You know, would it be unreasonable for me to, you know, book in a time with you to have a chat to see how we can collaborate and refer business to each other? No, not unreasonable at all. Boom. So you're fishing for a no answer, which is easier to get from people you're talking to. All right. And then from there, guys, the world's your oyster. And if you notice, I asked one question there. there's a key language thing in there as well. So the word reasonable, okay? Reasonable. Whenever I'm listening to sales conversations and giving feedback, a lot of people ask, does that sound fair to you? You know, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. For something to be fair, you have to work out whether it's unfair. All right? And so, what's unfair to a lot of people? Life is unfair to a lot of people. All right? So in a sales conversation, you need to remove the word fair completely. But the word reasonable, replace that, insert that in there instead. Because almost everything is reasonable if it's justified. Almost everything is reasonable if you have something to back it up, something that has evidence behind it. So when you're making your pitch, when you're trying to close, you know, would it be reasonable that we achieve all these things for you for this amount? You know, hey, during our conversation, I've just had a thought. Look, my actual program, you know, is this amount, and would that be reasonable in order to achieve this, this, and this, and this? Yeah, it sounds pretty reasonable. So be conscious of the words that you use, and be conscious more specifically of the preconceived emotion and meaning and definitions that it has attached to society, right? Because as a collective, we have these, how do I say, established associations with particular words that are quite powerful. So we need to understand them and use other words that will benefit us. One thing I also wanted to add here, guys, is in a sales conversation, right? You need to think of it as a power struggle, right? They're going to test you. They're going to throw things at you. And why are they doing that? Because they're challenging you to see if your authority stands up. So they're gonna ask you kind of irrelevant questions that are not necessarily tied to the results that you're working towards. So, you know, like they may be asking about a previous client that you've worked with, which is not really related to them and their situation right now. They may be asking about your educational background, which, you know, generally speaking, unless you're a lawyer or a doctor, is kind of like irrelevant to what they want to achieve now. Right? So you need to control the conversation, and you need to master some other language skills like non sequiturs. And give me a second while I have a quick sip, because that was quite a big spill of me talking right there. Thanks, guys. So non sequiturs. And what are non sequiturs? Non sequiturs are a way of answering the questions without really answering the question. All right? Because you're going to get asked questions that have no real purpose in them achieving their goals. You know, a question that I get asked is, hey, so you got like plenty of business experience, so you must have, you know, completed your MBA, your master's in business in no time. Answer a question with a question, most definitely. And so I'm going to keep that in mind with what the host has said there. So, you know, they're going to, you lost my train of thought again, mate. So, you know, I often get asked, hey, so you got your MBA, or, you know, you've got a master's in business or anything like that. And I will go, great, mate, great question. Many people would assume that I do have an MBA, and then I would push forward with the conversation. So in terms of answering a question with a question, yes, but what you actually need to do is just acknowledge their question. Because if you acknowledge their question, then they will feel like they've been heard. and then you just make a comment, add some value around it, and then you move on. You know, and the thing to be conscious around there is to make sure that you don't break rapport. So if they're asking you the same question over and over and over again, and you know what, and you feel like rapport is slipping, just answer it, you know, and then move forward. But know that the questions they ask you is just to challenge your authority. And if they challenge your authority, they just want to see how much they can trust you moving forward. So lead them through the conversation, because everyone wants to be followed. Lead them through that conversation, establish trust with them, so that you can do what's best for them, rather than going off somewhere else and probably getting fleeced or jumping into a program that's not suitable if you genuinely believe you can help them, right? So and when we talk about like sales conversations, right, guys, just so I know, like if you let me know if you're finding this valuable, just shoot a couple of comments, or send an emoji through, because I want to make sure that I give you something that's worthwhile, because that's one of my core values, to make sure. All right, so I've just been told, Dre, where are you, man? Time's up. I was waiting for you to pop back in, mate. I was waiting for you to pop back in. I know time's up. I was trying to
Well, you
stall
kept
for you.
blaming me. You're like, oh, Jay, I was trying to talk. Oh, Jay, again. Right, I just want to say, man, like, thank you for doing that. It was so valuable. I've written down, a couple of notes for myself. I love the, would it be rude?
Yeah.
Rude, starting with something like that, and would it be reasonable? Sorry, would it be unreasonable? And also the power of the pause. I know that I definitely don't do that, because I talk quite quickly, and I definitely don't do that enough. So, very quickly, where can people get hold of you? Like, where's the best place?
Guys, just hit me up on my Facebook. Like, this is my profile pic, this face here, so you can't confuse it. I haven't changed my style in the last 10 years, so this is me. You see this face? That's my profile. Get on it, guys.
Awesome. And do you have a dad joke or anything inspirational that you'd like to leave us with?
Oh, mate, I've always got a dad joke for you.
Oh,
So, and then I've also got a little quote thing as well, right? So, what did the ocean say to the beach?
oh no, you didn't.
No, tell me. I don't know what.
Nothing.
Ah, nothing. It waves. But I've got plenty. Hey, if that's already been used, I can pull out another one.
All right, go on, one more.
No, no, I won't pull out another one. But I've got a based on like what you're doing today. I just want to say, testament to you for organizing such an event to such a great cause, and it's made me reflect on part of my Buddhist background, and I want to leave this with you. So, Buddha once said, kindness should become the natural way of life, not the exception. So, testament to you for what you're doing here for others, guys.
No, you are a legend. All right, Q, get out of here. Go and have an amazing weekend. I appreciate you so much, bro. We'll catch up very soon. That was awesome.
See you guys.
All right, next up we have Jules VELEVSKI. Jules, is your camera working? If so, can you turn it on? Because I can see you. Actually, I can't see you in the background, because it is your time to shine. All right, I'm going to bring you out, Jules. All right. Hey, Jules. All right, cool. All right, Jules, if you go down to settings, so at the bottom.
Can you hear me at least?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, settings.
Yeah, so can you see the settings at the bottom?
No, I can see a microphone, I can see a camera and little other.
Yeah. Okay, and then the one on the right-hand side.
Settings.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And
right, and then if you go to video.
Yeah, and it's just thinking. So
yeah, then it should give you the option of video input.
So do I
And then
do FaceTime HD camera?
how many cameras do you have attached to your laptop or your?
It's got default, FaceTime, HD camera, and yeah.
I would go either the default or the HD camera.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see ya.
Yay.
Boom! Shake the room. Jules is in the house. Jules, all right, because we went a little bit over, I'm going to leave you to it. You were amazing. I'm so glad that you are here, and I'm really excited about what you have to share today. So, do you have like slides or anything, or are you just gonna like do your thing?
No,
Just talk?
I'm just gonna talk and just have a chat. So yeah,
I'll
thank
leave
you.
it.
I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. It's an amazing cause, Dre, and thank you so much for you just got a big heart of gold, and taking the time out of your 3 days of your life to raise funds for 3 incredible charities, and we know Paul and we know Brett, and they're amazing daughters, they're beautiful, gorgeous daughters, and so I just want to say before I start, if anyone's got like $1, $2, $10, $100, $200, whatever you can spare. This is a worthwhile cause, a worthwhile charity, and they're almost on the verge of finding a cure and finding a treatment for it. So please dig deep, because a little goes a long way. So just wanted to start off here. So much gratitude.
Jules, thank you so much. Love for you. All right, go crush it.
So hi, I'm going to talk to you. Okay, so firstly, I'll explain to you a little bit about who I am. So my name's Jules, and I'm a self-worth coach. I help you break through your limitations to build the self-confidence that you deserve, and also so you can live the life that you deserve. So I'm just going to push this screen down a little bit. So, I'm a certified NLP master practitioner and in timeline therapy as well. I've also, I've also got a bachelor's degree in social work, and I've been a social worker for over 14 years in mental health as well. I've had the privilege and honour to serve and help over 7,000 people. And also along the course of my journey, I've was coming to personal development, personal growth, and throughout that journey, I've spent over $100,000 plus on my own growth, on my own personal development, and my own my own personal journey. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that just so you have an understanding of where I'm coming from and the road that I've led, and where I am right now. I've also read, numerous personal growth and development books and attended courses, seminars, and I've, it's just changed and transformed my life. So that's just a little snippet of me, about me, of me. So I've gone from social work now to owning my own business as a self-love coach. And I couldn't be more honoured and privileged to have been part of this charity event, and I just wanted to share with you guys 3 ways that you can build your self-esteem now and self-confidence. So self-confidence, you might be wondering, what is self-confidence? So self-confidence is something that you have, that it's not something that we continuously have 24/7. It's not something that we're born with. It's not something that, one person has and the other person doesn't. It's something that you have to work on. And, people that have self-confidence, that you are able to tell because they'll have a certain posture about themselves. They will talk with assertiveness, with authority, but not with arrogance. They will believe in themselves. They will trust in their own abilities. They will know their strengths, but they'll also know their weaknesses as well. And they will also be open to receiving feedback and looking at ways to improve and change and grow constantly. So someone that has low self-confidence, you would see them probably slouched a little bit, and they would probably be talking like this and not very assertive. Their eye contact would be down, their head might be down, and they wouldn't have the language that they would be saying to themselves, and what they'd be using, internal dialogue, would be, oh, don't even attempt to go for that job. Don't attempt to even, put yourself out there, or, start writing that book, because you're not going to do it. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not attractive enough. All of these things come with someone that has low self-confidence. And I just want to share with all of you that I was that person. I did have low self-confidence. I also had low self-esteem, low self-worth. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't value myself. I didn't love myself. And all of these things that once you look at them, self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, self-love, what do they all start with and have in common? Self. When you can start to fully love, accept, appreciate all of you, who you are, your perfections, your imperfections, that's when you truly find the confidence. Yes, Lynn, that's right, self. That's when you find, when all of that comes together, that's when you find the true self-confidence. The truest part of you finds the true self-confidence, the true love, the true self-worth. It all starts with you, and it all ends with you as well. And my journey in this has not been an easy one either. And to go from having low self-confidence to being in relationships, that we tend to, and I'm sure that there's many of you out there that have been in relationships for far, far, far too long, or have, or still are in relationships, or in a relationship that, you maybe have been in for too long and you probably need to get out of. And that all comes down to, not knowing your worth, not knowing your value, and, being afraid to step out into the unknown. And that's something that we need to do, especially when we're looking at how we can, build our self-confidence, build our self-esteem, build our self-worth. And a way that we can, there's ways that you can build your self-confidence, and that would be, if you're going to say you're going to do something and promise yourself you're going to do something, stick to it. Stick to what you say that you're going to do. Because when you break your promises to yourself, that's when your self-confidence plummets. So make sure that when you say you're going to do something, that you go and do it. Take baby steps even in doing what you're going to do. Even if it, you might be a bit fearful, just go out there and do it. Because there is no failure in the end. There's only lessons. And like Thomas Edison, he found 1,000 different ways how not to make a light globe. So if he was to look at, let's take Thomas Edison's example, if he was to look at when he first, let's just say failed, we'll use that word, attempt at making the light globe, and then he was to say to himself, oh, well, I suck at this, I'm just going to give up and not bother, we wouldn't have lights. But he looked at different ways. He went about, that same goal, he went about it in a different way. So each time that way that he tried, maybe he wasn't successful at that attempt, he then rerouted. Like your sat nav, your Google Maps, when you turn the wrong way or there's roadworks going on that you end up having to reroute. That's the same thing in life. When we fail, when we fall down, when we you know, lose track, or we don't, you know, get it the first go, that's okay. It's okay not to get it the first go or the second go. And can I tell you a little secret? It's even okay not to get it the 10th go. As long as you don't quit, as long as you don't stop going for that goal, that dream. Just continue rerouting. Just continue looking at a different way to go about it, trying different ways. You know, and I found that along my journey and along my coaching journey, social work journey, that in the end, what happens is when we stay in our comfort zone and we stay in our little bubble, we're comfortable, we're in this relationship that we don't want to be in, we're in you know, a toxic relationship that we probably should have left, we're at a job that we're not being valued enough for, but we're staying there because we don't see our worth, and we're so comfortable in this little bubble. But you know what? In reality, when you think about it, this comfort bubble, this bubble that we say our comfort zone, sometimes we're not even comfortable in our comfort zone, but we stay in there because it's all we know. It's all we know. So we use this word comfort zone, and most of the time we're not even bloody comfortable in this comfort zone, but we stay in it. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? We need to step out of our comfort zone, and in order to do that, we need to, you know, start to see our own worth, see our own value. Because if you wanted to place your hand on your heart right now, and if you're driving, please don't do this. And if you're not driving and you want to do it, yes, just place your hand on your heart right now. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. And if you feel this precious heartbeat, this heartbeat that beats every second of every day, this heartbeat that asks nothing of you and is allowing you to stay alive and has been with you from the moment you were conceived, was the first organ that grew. You know, you've had this heart beating for you. And once we stop and place our hands on our heart, take a few slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we realize that this heartbeat, this heart of ours, is where our love truly is. Your love is right there where your heart is. The purest, rawest, unconditional love is right there with you. It's always been with you. Your self-worth, your self-confidence, your self-love has been right there with you this whole entire time. Wherever you've gone, wherever you've tried to run, wherever you've been, wherever you are right now, you are at home. Just know that. So when you place your hands on your heart, that's the purest, truest form of love. And that is what I just wanted to share with everybody. So when you are feeling lost, when you're feeling alone, when you're feeling unworthy, when you're feeling not good enough, when you're feeling not smart enough, when you're feeling just down and out about life, please just take a moment and place your hands on your heart and just breathe. Just breathe. Breathe in all that love, that goodness. And remember, you are worthy. You are smart. You are beautiful. You are intelligent. You have everything you need within you. Everything you have ever needed has been with you this whole entire time. You do not need to look out and go for external validation. You don't need to get external approval. You don't need to go and, you know, have external moments of a short-term gratification, like drugs, alcohol, sex, you know, all of the love, all of what you have been searching for externally has been with you this entire time. And I just wanted to say to each and every one of you that I see you, I hear you, I believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself. And that you are so worthy beyond what you can imagine. You are so worthy. And you are so lovable. And that all you need to do is just place your hands on your heart. And for me, the greatest realization was that I found my home when I tapped into my heart space, and when I really truly connected to my heart. That's when I found the purest love. That's when I found my home. And I don't need four walls around me to call a home. You know, I don't need external validation to make me feel whole and to make me feel loved. Because when you connect with yourself at a deeper level, not just at a superficial level, but when you connect to yourself at a deeper level, that's when you know that you don't need anything else external to validate you. That's when you know that you've come home. And that's when that love, that unconditional love, that self-worth, that thing that we've all been searching for, you know, we stop searching because we have come home to it. And that also requires you to be able to, you know, accept your perfections and imperfections. And also that means that, and thank you, Lynn, thank you, Alex, and thank you, Brett. Yeah, and thank you, Paul. Yeah, it means that you can, you know, once you find your center, once you find your home, which has always been with you from the moment you were conceived, when you know, you were still in your mum's womb, that heart that was beating for you, keeping you alive without ever asking for anything, that's love. And that's your love. No one else's but yours. And all you need to do is tap into that. And that's where you'll find your self-confidence. That's where you'll find your self-worth. That's where you'll find that, you know, whatever you put your mind to, whatever you believe is possible, you will go out and achieve. Because it all starts with loving yourself first. And I'm hoping that little exercise was, you know, able to you know, center and ground a lot of you, and, you know, help you just tap into your own personal power, because we all have it. We all have it, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And yeah, I'm just not sure how long I have here, Dre, so just let us know if I'm going a little bit over time.
You've got about 5 minutes.
No worries.
So can I do a couple of questions?
Pardon?
Well,
yeah, I just was going to. Yeah,
you have the mic.
You can definitely. You can definitely. I just wanted to read something out that I've got here that I think I mentioned to you a few days ago, actually, that I wrote, and I've written it down so I don't forget it. It's, you know, reconnecting to the most truest and deepest love, a love that has no conditions, no boundaries, no limits, the purest of all love, a love that is unconditional and unwavering. That is self-love. Self-love is the only love that will make you feel whole and complete. All external love is just an attempt to satisfy a need that's lacking within. The biggest decision in life isn't your career, marital status, or your home. It's choosing to love yourself wholeheartedly. So that was, yeah.
I love that. Wait, I'm not sure if this is appropriate, but pew, 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 pew. Absolutely love it. So I'm going to see if I can sneak this question in. So say if you've got a client, we'll just say me, that sometimes struggles, because most of the time I'm in my head, but if you're in your head, you're dead, and struggles to get into his heart, what sort of advice would you give client or me?
That struggles to get into their heart.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, when you, because you're saying, no, sometimes you just need to feel it, just feel into it. Because that's something that, yeah, I've struggled to do over the last couple of years.
Yeah, so people that, so what my advice is, just so I know I've understood the question correctly, is what advice would I give to people that might struggle to get into their heart space? Is that what you're saying?
That's it, yeah, that's it.
Well, it's practice. It's practice. Firstly, you know, don't beat yourself up if you're, you know, you attempt and then you kind of, well, I don't like that word fail, but you attempt, but you don't kind of succeed, you know, or you're not where you want to be. My advice would be, don't give up. Continue, you know, taking moments out of your day to just, you know, placing your hand on your heart. I'm not sure if you did it or not, but it is such a powerful exercise, because we forget the little things in life, like those little, well, your heart's not a little thing, but do you know what I mean? We take things for granted a lot of the time. So taking time out of your day, you know, and just placing your hands on your heart and being grateful for your heartbeat, firstly, you know, for those, just something simple as that. Gratitude, you know, is another way to get you to be more into your heart space, if that makes sense. So, you know, taking a moment to just be grateful for your heart and placing your hands on your heart, but then also just being grateful, maybe journaling about things that you're grateful for, having a gratitude journal, because that really truly starts to open up your heart more, because you're looking for things you're grateful for. And gratitude, having an attitude of gratitude is the way to go, baby.
Absolutely, love it.
You know,
Jules,
yeah.
how can, awesome, thank you for answering that question. What's the best place for, blah, 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 blah.
So like Quan said earlier, this is my face. So, you know, Facebook, Jules VELEVSKI. Go there. Yes, Paul, attitude of gratitude, love it. So go there, please. And, you know, please, once again, I'm going to say to anybody that's listening or watching, please donate to this amazing cause, amazing charity. Please, 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 like, you know, any amount, like I said, you know, a small amount goes a long way. So whatever you can, dig deep, please, and just support this amazing charity. And because we're on this, you know, I was going to say subject or not subject, because we're on this, what do you call it, 3-day event of, you know, charity and giving, I would like to, you know, offer 5 people the opportunity. I'll be gifting 5 people, lucky people, the opportunity to work with me, you know, one-on-one for free, as like, yeah, as a gift. So, you know, going on the gift of charity and giving, I would like to offer, you know, 5 lucky people the chance to work with me for free for 6 weeks.
Are you sure? Like everyone can hear this. You're sure? 5
I'm
people.
sure.
1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
yeah,
4, 5.
yeah. Giving. That's what it is. It's all
Love
about
it.
giving. So yeah, So reach out to me on Facebook, which is Jules VELEVSKI, and also just hit me up on Messenger as well. So thank you for such an amazing opportunity, and shout out to you, Paul and Brett, for just this incredible charity that you're doing. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I really appreciate you all. Thank you.
So both, I guess, personally and professionally, like, that I love you like to bits, and like our catch ups and our talks and everything. So I just want to say thank you so much today for like contributing, giving up your time, but also being a person that can just sort of like really listen and like take it all in, and like the advice and the guidance that you offer is just amazing. So I appreciate you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dre. Thank you.
So, all right, enjoy your weekends. All right.
And
Oh, okay. All right, you're back.
I
Right.
and I forgot to mention that I have How to Create and Live Your Best Life ebook. If anyone's interested, reach out. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, thank you. All right.
Thank you. How do I get out of
Thank
here?
you. I'll take you out. I'll take you out.
Oh.
All right. There you go. All right. So that was Jules VELEVSKI. Now, do you know what? I need to spend more time with this absolute rock star. So, Mr. Eric SOMMERFELD, welcome to the stage. How are you, legend? Oh, can't hear. All right. All right, try this. So there's a settings button at the bottom. So you've got the microphone, you've got the camera, you've got share screen person. It's the one on the right-hand side. If you click that, and then it will pop up saying on the left-hand side, general video audio. If you go to audio, you should be able to select audio input and audio output. And hopefully it might have a couple of options there for you. That might work.
How's that?
Oh, yes. So boom, shake the room, my man. How are you?
Made it. I'm good, Trey. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you. I just want to say thank you, firstly, for giving up your time, donating, contributing, and I'm just really excited for what you have to share. So I've taken up a couple of minutes. The stage is yours. You good to go? Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All
cool.
Right.
So thanks for being here, Trey, and organizing this great event. And I can see that Paul is here and Brett is here as well in the comments. So what a great course. I know Paul personally. I think I haven't connected with Brett yet, but an amazing course. So please, everybody, donate and support. And since I'm a father as well, since 11 months now, it's a course that's really close to my heart. There's the link. Thanks, Paul. Please click the link and support these guys. So what I want to talk today is about the truth about dieting. It's a new topic. It's some new distinctions that I got now over the last years working with a lot of clients and thinking, what are these patterns? Because I can see certain patterns of people, certain things coming to me for, and then realizing that there is maybe a different and deeper reason and meaning, and helping my clients in that way. And so it's some new content. So let's explore together. If I mumble my words a bit, then you have to live with it. And I'm just exploring as well and putting this together for all of you. So I trust it's valuable. So dieting, first of all, I want you to think, when was the last time that you diet? Assuming that all of us went on a diet before, and if you never went on a diet, then you're very likely know someone who went on a diet before. So think about, when was the last time that you went on a diet? And then think about how long did you stick to the diet? And then think about how many different diets and when did you go on in your whole lifetime, in your whole health journey. And then are you happy with the results of your health and of your well-being in general? Maybe ask yourself these questions just to get everything started up here. If you watched them the whole morning, you might be already a bit exhausted. So amazing how Trey is doing it, 6 hours going straight and going until tonight. Amazing, amazing. So the answer most likely is you're not happy with your results, because that's why I do what I do, and why so many people come to me and want to have help with their health. And let's look into the reasons why so many people struggle. And number one comes to my mind is the food and diet industry. It's $1 billion industry, one of the biggest industries ever. If you think about supplements, if you think about workout programs, you think about food, think about all the different things, gyms, personal trainers, portion, all of the different diets that we have. But still, people right now are the most unhappiest, unhealthiest, and overweight and sickest ever. And that's a fact. You can look it up. If you look at the numbers of overweight or obese people in Australia and worldwide, it's shocking. It's shocking. And we have so much more knowledge, so much more science and research, but people still don't feel in control of their health. And that's one of my biggest mission, to really help people to feel more in control. And we're working against the diet and food industry, and very likely they don't necessarily have your best interest in mind, because they run a business, they want to sell their products. And if you would take control of your health and of your weight and of all of the things related to it, then they would go out of business. So they're very likely run their programs or promoting their products so that you stay on them forever and ever and ever. And I think a lot of us, they went on these cycles of yo-yo dieting, yo-yo exercising. And what I hear a lot is, I tried everything in the past. I done the keto, I done the intermittent fasting, I done the vegan thing, I done the supplements, I done the calorie counting, and it's really good. It was really good for a week, for a month, or maybe a couple of months, but then life gets in the way again, and you snap back into your old patterns. And that's something what I hear all the time. That's why most people come to me in the first place. And also what I noticed is, on this point, it's about social media. The impact of social media, let's say over the last 10 years with Facebook, Instagram, and the complete different access that people have to other people. That used to be like the people in our family, in our community, in our village, or in our city. Now we have access to the whole world. And then we comparing ourselves to a really unrealistic and fake perception of what health and well-being actually means. And be chasing something what is not really sustainable. And also what I get all the time, people achieve their goals. So let's say it's a weight loss goal. You want to get down to 70 kilograms, and you achieve your goal and you're still not happy. And that's a really bad spot to be in, because you're putting in all of this effort, all of this sacrifice for many weeks or many months, just to find out, that's all. I thought now I'm really happy and healthy, but you maybe not. And I want to share with you a concept that helped me a lot and that I usually share with my clients. And it goes like this. So most people, when they think about health and well-being, they think about diet, saying, Eric, I'm not eating right, I need to lose weight. That's usually how people come to me. Hopefully you can see it. So it's your diet, and that's usually connected to weight loss. Okay? But what they're actually coming from, or coming for, what they're actually coming for is to be healthier, happier, and stronger. That's what people actually come for. And that means that you have more structure, you're feeling good about yourself, you have more clarity, you feel more optimistic, you feel more peaceful within yourself. If you really dig deeper, it's more than just the number on the scale. That's usually only the first thing. And that's one of the main things I want to raise awareness today, that the number on the scale will not make you happier or healthier or stronger. Okay? So that's the second level. But what it really means, once you're happier, healthier, and stronger, is that you, wait for it, is that you feel worthy plus loved. That's what it really means. We really dig down. If I ask my clients or people that I speak to, why do you want to diet and why do you want to be healthier, happier, and stronger? It's because you want to feel worthy, you want to feel good enough within yourself and for your relationship, and you want to feel loved. That's why you want to start a diet in the first place. So I want to challenge your thinking, or I want to share with you a different way of thinking. What if we could erase this first step? So if you think about that as an iceberg, that's the obvious thing, the diet and the weight loss. And under the water, under the surface, we want to be healthier, happier, and stronger. And finally, and ultimately, feel worthy and loved. So what if we erase this first one and make our new water line, make it here. So now we're focusing on being healthier, being happier, being stronger. And that will finally make us feel worthy and loved. Yes, Sally, worthy and loved. That's what it's all about. So maybe you want to write this down, or you want to take a mental note. Instead of focusing on the diet, focusing on the weight loss, focusing on becoming healthier, happier, and stronger. And also to demonstrate that, so my background is engineering, so I like to use these models. So I know many people are more visual. I want to share the reason why most people struggle with long-term results and they're coming into this yo-yo dieting, yo-yo exercising. And that all starts, usually we have an outcome, right? We want to get to this certain weight. We want to work out 3 or 4 times per week. We want to meditate more. We want to feel less stressed. We want to make better choices, create better habits. That's usually the outcome. Okay, that's how most people start. Then, okay, that's the outcome. And what do I need to do for it? Which is like the strategy to achieve the outcome. And then what are the habits that I need to create for it? I have to work on my writing, but you can listen to it. What's the strategy? What's the habits that you need to start doing to achieve the outcome? And that's where most people stop. So it goes from here to here. And that's the recipe for only short-term results. Because you can have your outcome, you want to get to 70 kilogram, let's say, you're going on this diet. So you do ketogenic diet, for example, you achieve your goal, you sacrifice everything, you're waiting for the state until you hit the 70 on the scale. And then what's happening for most people? Tell me in the comments. You're just cycling back, right? You achieve your goal, you're taking it a bit easy. Yes, I done it. Let's enjoy life again. Then you're falling back into your old patterns. And then you start the cycle again in another 3 months or 6 months. So what if, different way of thinking again, if we started the other way around and we would actually look, okay, what about our identity? Yeah, we only got 30 minutes together, so I only give you the big ideas. So what if we work on our identity and focusing on becoming this person who is healthy, happy, and strong? So what would this person do on a regular basis? What would this person think about him or herself or about health? What would this people think? What would this person believe, right? So what are the things that this person will do who is truly healthy, happy, and strong, and not just 70 kilogram on the scale? That's why in the beginning of your journey, we're usually digging deeper into your goals. What do you want to achieve? And all the time, that's more things than that, right? You want to be a great parent. You want to feel attractive for your partner. You want to be more confident. You don't want to get sick. Maybe you have like a family history of health conditions. You don't want to get diabetes, heart disease, all of these other things that most people suffer with. Okay, so that's actually your real outcome. And rather than going that way, you want to go the other way around and start with this identity, working on your beliefs and on the stories that you tell yourself, right? Once you overcome these limiting beliefs and we releasing negative emotions, there are certain techniques that I use with my clients, then we can actually create, or you can become this person who want to be truly healthy, happy, and strong, and understands what it really means for them. So a good question to ask yourself as well is, what does health actually mean to me? Okay, maybe you can think about, if you have something to write something down, think about it. What does health really mean to me? Start with that. And then you find the right strategy and habits, and then you achieve your outcome. And that's long lasting because you fundamentally changed your personality, or you change your focus that you have on things. And you're not just going, okay, I'm on this ketogenic diet and I have to do exactly this. And then once I hit a 70 kilogram, then what do? It's only short-term things. Okay? And that's what this model demonstrates. So you have to work on the person that we need to become to achieve this goal long-term. So what would it mean if you're 70 kilogram? How would you feel about yourself? How are your energy levels? How is your confidence, right? How much progress will you make in your career? How much progress will you make in your relationship, for example? Yeah. So this is all things. And once you have more focus and clarity about that, then we can look into the different things that actually help you to become healthier, happier, and stronger. So to get there, since we erased the dieting, so the truth about dieting is you shouldn't focus on the dieting. Masterclass over, that's it. But what I want to share with you is the steps that I use with my clients and programs. And there are 3 things that we're focusing on. Number 1 is the tools. Number 2 is the trust. And number 3 is the team. Okay, first of all, you want to focus on the foundations. So what are the right tools that work for you, for your movement, for your nutrition, and for your mindfulness? Movement can be as simple as steps, how many times you're working out, what kind of workouts are you doing, but it has to be something that fits to your preferences and to your schedule as well, because everyone is different. If you hate swimming, and you're really afraid of water, and they tell you go swimming every day, then you're very unlikely to make that a long-term habit, right? So tools for movement, tools for nutrition, learning different things, different approaches towards your nutrition. Usually what I recommend is to focus on whole foods, is to focus on real food, and then starting to do a diary. I will give you a couple of steps at the end. So if you stick around for another 10 minutes, I will share that with you, doing a food diary and really get this awareness around your food, and then starting to educate yourself. Because then, rather than following just the meal plan or tracking your calories in this app, which I realized by working with a lot of clients, that's only short term. People can do it for a week or for a month, maybe 3 months, one of my best clients, but then they couldn't sustain it. And that's why I completely changed the approach, because that's how I've been taught from the beginning when I done the first course. Okay, you track your calories and your macros and your fats and your carbs and your protein, right? Who done this before or heard about it? And you want to have the right tools. So if you need certain tools for different times in your life, that's an important point as well, right? Life is different. Sometimes it's a bit more cruisy, sometimes it's really stressful, and you need different tools. And that's what you have to create for yourself first, like a tradie, right? In Australia, you got the tradies, and you got your tool belt, and then you know, okay, cool, I got the intermittent fasting. Okay, I got my writing down the food. Then I got this is a good example. For example, I could cut out meat for a bit, right? Do a bit more plant-based. And there are certain things, and whenever you need them, you can just take them out. But it takes a while to experiencing them, to learn these skills. So if you need them, they are there. So that's for the food. And then number 3, most important thing in my opinion, is mindfulness. So how do you be sure that you don't have to high stress levels, that you sleep better, that you're just feeling more in control over your mind? Perfect way for that would be meditation, breath work, sleeping in general, getting enough sleep, cutting out alcohol, cutting out any other substances, this kind of things. But again, it's different for everyone. Okay, that's tools, that's the foundation. Once you know the right tools, then we're working on building the trust, right? So building this trust within yourself that you actually follow through. So most people know what they should do, but they actually don't do it. Most people know what they should do, but they actually don't do it. Maybe that's you, or maybe that you know, right? You know exactly, okay, shouldn't have this, shouldn't have the snacks after 9 p.m. I should have more water. I should get more nutritious, healthy food in my body, but I'm still not doing it, right? That's how we're building this trust within yourself. And we do it by looking into your beliefs and looking into your stories. Most of the time, it's the stories and the beliefs that are connected to that that's really holding us back, because we tell ourselves the story, it's just too hard, we don't have time, my whole family done it like this before, it's really hard to change. And once we're digging deeper there and doing certain things, then we can build this trust within yourself, and then eventually build and create and install these healthy habits and a different way of thinking. Right? For example, this would be like a story. Okay, you have to be on a diet to achieve your goals. You would challenge this story and you would say, okay, cool, let's focus on the things that make us healthier, happier, and stronger. And once we focus on these things, then we will automatically achieve our weight loss goals as well, and we will find the right diet that will help us to get there. Hope that makes sense. You can type "makes sense" as well. Pretty passionate about it because I know so many people struggle with that, and I really want people to have this hope that there is a different way. Makes sense, cool, and that there is a different way to look at health and look at weight loss and dieting. And that's what I'm excited about to share. So, and then once we build this trust, then to really make it a long-term sustainable things. Make sense, Paul? Thank you. Then to make it a long-term sustainable thing, you wanna focus on community. So to have the right people around, because we all know it's really hard if you have people that not really supporting you, people who track you down and saying, oh, you're on this health trip again and you will not be successful. And they basically want you to stay stuck where you are. So having the right people around, then immersion is really important as well. So to do like this kind of things, I truly believe if you would watch this whole 3 days, you would go out with a complete upgraded mindset and you really immerse yourself in becoming healthier, happier, stronger, learning the skills for your health, for your business, for your relationships. And that's what immersion is all about, right? When you immerse yourself in this kind of courses, do personal development and do a day course, do a 3-day course, hang out with other cool people. And I know we train me doing that in our mastermind. So we're constantly immersed, yeah, and have at least 4 or 5 hours every week of immersion. And then we have 3-day events, 1-day events regularly. So we immerse on the things that we know are important to us. And lastly, after we have the right community and the immersion, is to get your family involved. So first you changed for yourself, right? That's always has to start with that. So don't expect your partner, your kids, other family members, friends to jump on the train. I hear that a lot, and that holds people back because, but my husband is not doing it, and it's really hard with the kids. It has to start with you. Once you're getting the results and people see, look, Sally, she's really crushing the health. She lost so much weight. She's having so much energy and she's glowing so much. Saying, oh, cool, Sally, what you're doing? And then they will also join in. That's what I usually observe when you're starting this ripple effect and with the people in your life. And that's point number 3. You get your family and your friends involved as well. So that's tools, trust, and team, and that will help you to get long-term results. So whatever program you do, be sure you're having these 3 elements in there, and that will be sure that will be a long-term thing. So now I promised you quickly, I think I got 5 minutes left, power of community, 100%. The last thing I want to give you some practical steps, and I will just tell you, just to speed it up, practical 5 things you can start today. Doesn't matter if you're already advanced or you haven't done anything since COVID or since before COVID. There are 5 things. The number 1 would be your water intake. So crucial, so simple. Not many people talk about it because you can't really sell it. I can't just tell you, oh, have your 3 or 4 liters per day, and that's like $500 for this advice. But it's so crucial. Yeah? To change one thing, it's the water. Rule of thumb is per 20 kilogram of body weight, it's about 1 liter of water. So if you're 60 kilogram, 3 liters per day, 80 kilogram, 4 liters per day, 100 kilogram, 5 liters per day. Okay, water. Number 2 is steps, right? Not just the exercise, but your daily activities of 5 to 10,000 steps every day. You all got a phone nowadays. You got this health app, and it's tracking for you, and you can check in. Cool, I done my steps today, and if not, let's increase that so you have more activity during the day. Number 3 is whole foods, as I already said, being sure that you're having real food. So fruits and vegetables, seed, nuts, meat, organic grass-fed if you can, right? Real food, not processed food, not takeaway. And on this point, you want to use the 80-20 rule, which means 80% of the time, you want to have whole foods, nutritious food, super healthy, homemade if you can. And 20% of the time, enjoy yourself, be social, don't worry, order some takeaway. So if you think about that, you have, maybe you don't have breakfast, let's say you have lunch and dinner, which is twice per day, 7 days per week. So it's 14 times, 14 meals per day. And you will, 3 or 4 out of them, you can just enjoy yourself. And the other 10, you're being focused on that it's good, nutritious stuff, what you know is good for you. 80-20 rule, 100%. And last one is, my personal favorite is meditation and breath work. There's so many cool apps nowadays you can use. You can go to YouTube, type in 10 minutes guided meditation. Just do this, preferably beginning of the day or end of the day. And that will just help you with your mindset and get you more focused. Save so much money cooking at home, even with the organic foods, 100%. People always say, oh, it's too expensive to cook at home and organic, but it's actually not. That's just a limiting belief. Cool. So that's the 5 steps. Thanks for writing it in the comments here. If you watch the replay, you can also watch in the comments here. And the last thing I want to share with you, because I have 1 minute left or so, is about one of my biggest motivation. And it's not really the why. For me, it's the who I'm doing it for. For me, one of the biggest motivation is my daughter. Same as the purpose here. We're doing it for Brad's and Paul's daughters. For me, doing all of this stuff and helping people and building my community and my tribe is to model to my daughter what it means to take charge of your life and to create generational health. Because I recognize in my family and in most families, there are certain patterns and they are given to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation. And I decided at some stage that this cycle will stop. And I want to create this generational health for my family. And I know once we create this and break these patterns, then we will also have this ripple effect for other people around us. And that's one of my biggest motivations. And maybe last takeaway would be focus on your who in the same way that you focus on your why. Thank you, Trey, for having me.
Eric, do you know what? I want to give you a baseball bat because you just knocked it out of the park. That was epic. That was absolutely epic. I love the tools, the trust, and the team. I'm going to be stealing that. Before you go, how can people get hold of you? And do you have any workshops, challenges, or programs coming up?
Yeah, best way would be on Facebook. So you can see the name here, Eric Sommerfeld. You can type that in and connect there. Ask me any questions. I'm running a 5-day model health program. The next one starts in 8 days. on the 23rd, so people can join there. Where we mostly focusing on the tools and trust, so setting the foundation, spending 5 days together. So that's one. And also, if you're in Sydney, we're running a couple of events here. So I'm running some fitness programs, and we're doing some dinners together with the community and some hikes and some other cool stuff. So if you're in Sydney and you want to connect to some like-minded, cool people, then reach out as well.
Eric, thank you so much for today, for coming on, contributing, donating, like your time, your money, your efforts, your energy. You're a legend, and we need to catch up like more, definitely. So, because I love everything about you and what you do. So you keep being a legend, and yeah, really appreciate today, man.
Thanks, Craig.
All right, so that was the main man, Eric Sommerfeld. And this next, I don't think this next guy needs any introduction. He has been absolutely crushing it in his business. What I love about him, this guy checks on me almost every, I'm going to say every couple of days, just checking in. He's like, hey, Dre, just seeing if you're okay. Do you need anything? Like, how can I help? He is, just love his journey, and man, he's just a giver. He's a true one. He's a true one. That's what I'm going to say. All right, so I want to give a big, massive, warm welcome to my main man. Oh, that was tense, wasn't it? That was tense. Alex, how are you, buddy? Oh, can't understand. All right, so if you go to settings at the bottom, and then when you go to settings, you'll have a box that will come up and it will say general video audio. Click on the audio and it should give you a couple of options like audio input and audio output. So maybe selecting a microphone from the audio input.
Yeah. How's this? Good?
Yes, boom, shake the room in the building. How are you, man?
You know what? Got to give you a massive shout out as well, because you're an absolute super legend. Freaking love what you're doing. I'm so grateful and so, what's the right word? Even humbled, because my background's in events and I know how hard and how diligent you've been this whole week to really set this event up. And for such an amazing cause, for two amazing people and coaches, in Paul and Brett themselves. And I've met Paul's daughter as well, and she's an absolutely beautiful soul. So I know how much energy and how much effort and time you spent creating this just for the greater community. So, you know what, whoever's watching this now, please give Dre some love as well. Send him some love hearts, because he's such a beautiful human. And, I love you to pieces, brother. You've been an absolute...
Me, and especially leading up to my journey into P1 as well. So thank you so much, Dre. You're an absolute super legend, brother.
All right, Brett, I'm going to leave you to it, so I'm going to start crying or something. So I'll see you in a bit.
Awesome. All right. Hey, guys, my name's Alex, and I currently help entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, and even healers level up so they can make more impact. Because for me, my mission is to impact 100,000 lives. Okay, as a coach, as a human being, this is my purpose. This is the reason why I was born. And I'm going to run through some of the slides that I presented for you today, because I've had a lot of people ask me how I pretty much leveled up so quickly in my business, from jumping from 0 to 100K a month. And I'm going to share with you because I'd love to give back to the community as well. And I'll quickly share my screen. And I'm not the best with tech as well, but hopefully this will work. Just give me a heads up, Dre, if this works. Okie dokie. Can everyone see my screen? Hold on. Just let's have a look. Let's go. Yep. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. I'm going to jump in and out. But today, guys, I'm going to run a time and productivity masterclass, because this is something that I super love in terms of being productive, in terms of helping people run their business according to, you don't have to work that many hours is what I'm trying to implement. And for me, I want to sort of share with you a bit about my background, because I haven't had a chance to really, stuff out there as much as I have. And for me, before COVID started, guys, I used to have a really, awesome event management business. As you can see, one of my clients on the right was actually Ferrari. No, I don't own a Ferrari, but they were one of my clients, and they're just some of my friends and colleagues that I worked with. Yes, I have been on TV. I'm grateful for that experience as well. But in the top right-hand corner, okay, you can see there's a massive charity event where I actually hosted, and this is something that holds so dear to my heart, as well as, and Dre, you can probably relate to this. This is a charity event that I hosted in Melbourne at Crown Palladium, and me and a business partner, we raised over a couple of $1,000. For this time, it was actually for breast cancer, and I really loved that opportunity. Okay, so for me, that was like a part of my mission and part of my why of what I really wanted to do. And from there, guys, because of COVID, I actually, unfortunately, and because I'm in Melbourne, I lost my events business. Okay, just overnight. Everything that I'd worked so hard for like 10, 15 years, it just went down the drain. But fortunately enough, I was able to pivot. And during that time, I actually started an online business. So I do have an e-commerce business as well as a coaching and consulting business. And I've been able to manage both simultaneously. I'm grateful that I've actually had one of my young students, adults, he's about 25, and I've got a female who's about 27. They've been able to hit 6 figures themselves. So I'm super grateful for that achievement. And it's actually a testament to them of how much action they've taken as well. And, you know, as you guys know, I'm also certified in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, as well as timeline therapy. And as you guys know, I've achieved 10, 20, 30, up to 100K in my business. But ultimately for me, guys, I'm driven by impact, growth, and contribution. So this is why I do the things I do. All right. And I'll keep moving on with my business. I won't share that because a lot of the guys here are from our social circles. Guys, I'm going to give you some cold hard truths here. All right. And I want you to write this down if you can, because the number one thing, guys, is our time and energy, not money, is our most valuable resource. And the single defining factor in our success is how we spend or actually invest our time. All right. So this is a key takeaway that I learned through one of my mentors when I was really young. And I practiced this day in, day out, especially during lockdown, especially during my uni years when I was running a few different businesses. Okay. So this, if you understand this key takeaway, it will really, really help you out with everything you do in life, because this is not just about business. It's whether you're training, even if you have kids, which I don't have yet, but it's something that I'm preparing myself for as well. Now, guys, I'm going to give you some secrets that have created a lot of success in a lot of different areas. And I'm going to give you 3. there might be here, but essentially the first one, guys, I want to discuss about is focus. Because where focus goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, your focus will grow. So for example here, it's like you have a magnifying glass, and if you put it into a piece of string and you keep that focus on X amount of time, you know that it's gonna burn off and it's gonna pay off. So my point here is, if you have a focused outcome, you're gonna get there eventually, depending if you put in the work as well. Now, the next thing, guys, is discipline. Now, for me, discipline is doing things even when you don't feel like it. It's like this morning, I got up early, either went to the gym or had a cold shower, and it's freezing in Melbourne at the moment. And the last thing I wanted to do was jump in the cold shower. But for me, that puts me in state. Okay. So one thing I've learned is the quality of your life is actually the quality of your emotions, and emotions is your state. So that's why I've written down internal alignment. And that's something I really teach a lot in my programs as well, because one thing I learned in business, guys, is that 80 or even 90% of everything you do, it's all mindset. Okay, I can give you all the strategies, all the tools and stuff, but are you able to implement at speed? Because that's the key. Okay, so this all comes down to internal alignment. What is internal alignment? It's our beliefs, our emotions, our behaviors. Okay, and therefore taking massive action. And then lastly, guys, I'll give you another secret, and it's something that a lot of you guys have, but you want to probably bring it out more. It's called hunger. So if you can implement focus, discipline, and hunger, there's absolutely no reason why you guys can't be successful in all areas of life. All right. Now, what we're going to do, guys, is actually we're going to focus on how we're actually spending our time. So what I'd love you guys to do is actually do a time audit. And me and my team have actually created a sheet for you, and I'll give it to you guys later, is have a think about it. What days and what hours do you actually work? Okay. And have a look at your total work time. All right. What do you do with the time that you're spending with? Is it productive or is it unproductive? So what I love you guys to do as a challenge is I want you to pick an average day. So for example, say a Tuesday, and let's break it down into 30-minute chunks. Okay. And in this spreadsheet here, just either private message me or my team, and I'll give you guys a copy of something that I've created, because this will give you full awareness into how you're spending your time. All right. It's something that I learned through one of my mentors. It's called the Pomodoro technique, where essentially every half an hour, okay, I want you to be aware of how productive you were. Because, for example, if that half an hour, that outcome for the guys that are coaches, and you want to, essentially chat sequence, were you just scrolling on Facebook, or were you actually doing the work? So that's what I want to give you that awareness into, is that awareness precedes choice, and then choice precedes change. Okay, so for that, guys, I really want you to have a look into that. And from there, hold on one sec. I just got my screen. Oh, let me get that back up. Technology. Okay. What I'll do is, one thing I've learned, and this is something that I was previously, I guess, guilty of, is that we're always trapped in the busy cycle. All right. We didn't have a life outside of work. Okay. I think it was KDG. She mentioned earlier, like, have that green time as well. Stop to smell the roses. It's so important to recharge your energy so that when you are focused on your business, you guys can smash it out. All right. Another thing that people mess up is they don't focus on RGA. What's RGA, guys? I call it revenue generating activities. So this is essentially how we move the business forward every single day, whether it be, like I said, starting new chats, engaging with people, putting some content out, or even actually working on the business and the delivery of coaching. All right. Another thing that I've realized is that we have work guilt. So if I'm not working, I feel like I'm not doing anything, or I'm going backwards or failing. But the key to success, guys, is you've got to have balance as well, in terms of you've got to be able to recharge your batteries. And then when you're focused on the business, you're just playing all out. Okay. And then another thing that I've become aware of is you need to have a clear plan on what to do. Okay. Because if you don't have a clear plan of what to do, sometimes you do nothing significant and then you waste that time. All right. And another key question that I'd love you guys to have this awareness into is, during the time blocking that we do, did you have an outcome for this time? All right. So for example, in that half an hour that, we've been given, did you accomplish that goal that you set out to do? Or were you distracted? Were you on your phone? Okay. What percentage of your time was productive versus unproductive? And if you're fully focused, how many days would you actually need to work to produce the results you're currently producing? All right. And, what could you accomplish with the other days that you do have? So have to think about that, and, download the spreadsheet and then do this challenge, and you'd probably get a great awareness into how you're spending your time, guys. Pillars of productivity. I would love to share this with you. I just want to see, Dre, am I sharing my screen properly? Yeah, it is. All right, beautiful. I just want to make sure. All right, so pillars of productivity and effectiveness, guys. This is something that I love to do either on a Sunday night, or for the guys that are in, P1 or P2P, jump on the $1 Million Mondays. They're an absolute game changer, because essentially, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So what I do is I plan the week ahead. And the most important things for me are my clients. So I allocate my big rocks, okay, the priorities, attending all the P1 calls, etc., etc. And then I also allocate time for me to rest, recover, and even firefighting. So these are things that I call like last minute emergencies, all right? And also, we need to identify when we're on and when we're off. And I'll elaborate further on that as we go along as well. And another thing is, guys, we want to focus on the outcome you want to achieve, not the actual work that needs to get done. So if you literally hear what I'm saying is, for example, if your outcome is to start 20 chat sequences, all right, what do you have to do? You just have to essentially get it started, create it, and then do the work, all right? Eliminate the triggers of distraction and self-sabotage. This is such a big thing, and this comes down to our mindset as well, because self-sabotage essentially is you say one thing, but you don't do it. And that's what self-sabotage is as well, and cognitive dissonance for the guys that understand about NLP. Now, a thing that I'll introduce you guys is it's called theory of liberating constraints. And this is something I learned through one of my mentors. And he showed me that sometimes to do less is actually to do better, because if you're overwhelmed, you don't know, like your brain goes into flight, fight, and freeze mode. And then ultimately you guys end up doing nothing. Okay. And I've all been guilty of that, but that's just something for you guys to be aware of. Okay. Like I mentioned, plan the week ahead. How do we do that? Once again, it's by carving out a few moments. For me, I do this on a Sunday night, or I jump on the $1 Million Mondays, and it takes me half an hour to really just plan my week ahead. So I assess my goals and I consider what processes need to be made so that, I can either change up my strategy, or, for example, if I'm running a challenge, what do I need to do to make that this week a really productive week? All right. Plan my week, but once again, allocating the big rocks and by setting my agenda. And I do this with my journal and having my Google Calendar all set up throughout the weeks. All right. This is a quick example. This is like before I hit my 100K, guys. Like, this was my calendar. It was crazy. There's a lot of clients, as you can see. I do my weekly calls, I do my group calls, and I attend all the P1 calls. But I realized that I was able to achieve great results not by even working that hard. All I had to do was just be focused during the times that I was on. Okay. So you know, for you, you just have to think about how many hours and how many days do you need to work to actually achieve your goal of hitting 10, 20K, if that's your goal. All right. And then what we do is we reverse engineer it. And I'll give you the tools and strategies, I guess, in my programs as well. And guys, another thing that's super important, and I think KDG really touched base on this, because I've also been in a stage where I nearly burnt because I was running 2 businesses at the one stage. And, you know, for some of you guys, this is really important of knowing, understanding how to actually rest, recover, and do some of the firefighting. And how do we do that? Some of the times is actually, for example, if you're a coach, you're in sales, you've got to spend some time doing your admin, all right? Or dealing with emails, all the things that are like nitty gritty, okay? But anything that can take focus away from the type of work that's really going to make an actual difference in your business. So that's why I call this RGA activities, okay? Revenue generating activities, what are they? They're chat sequencing. They're either doing a strategy call, all right? And taking out time for your day is essential. So for me, like I said, I take time out first thing in the morning to either go to the gym or just have a cold shower because it gets me in state, all right? And then for me, everything's all about just getting it done, but in a really good, smooth, and in a flow manner as well. Another thing that I realized is that we want to create space for us to really catch ourselves, because if we've fallen into a busy trap, we've actually lost sight of the bigger picture, guys. All right. So once again, my suggestion is move physically. Like I love, you know, even having a rebound or just moving around every half an hour, because once again, it's all about state. And the more I'm spending more time in this P1 journey, I realize that this P1 journey is all about emotions. It is such a massive emotional journey. And, you know, I've been on red many times, but I've also been able to know how to get myself out of that state as well. And that is just through either training or even just having a phone call with one of my P1 colleagues. Now, for this photo here, guys, you'll see that there's a cow and a cheetah. Now, what is the difference between these two? You'll see with the cow, it feels like it's got a limited time. So it'll go around just grazing, and you know, it'll just eat the grass accordingly because it doesn't care. It's just got that time. It thinks it's got a lot of the time. Whereas in contrast, you'll see there's a cheetah here. All right. And what does this cheetah do? It's only got energy or enough, you know, speed for 30 seconds maybe to catch its prey. Okay. The thing is, guys, they both have the same outcome, but this cheetah is able to achieve its outcome within 30 seconds to a minute. So does that make sense? Is that making clear for you? So the point of this class is like, be aware of how you're spending your time and how we're actually getting the result done and the outcome. All right. So for me, something that I really worked on closely was focusing once again on the outcome. And how did I do that? Before I approach time block of 30 minutes, I asked myself, what do I want to achieve during this time? Okay. And how do I know when it's actually completed? And for me, sometimes what is the most efficient way to get that outcome? Because I realized a lot of the times that we're doing, you know, wasn't actually adding absolute value. It was actually wasting my time. All right. And another thing that really helped me out was eliminating triggers of distraction. Okay. So this is something that I'm really mindful of. And what I do is, for me, I actually don't check my personal phone that much anymore, because when I'm in the task, I just really focus on getting the outcome focused and getting it done. Because on average, this is according to some statistics that I research, an average person or worker that's in corporate, they only get about 2.5 hours of work done actual day, like focus work. So that's how crazy it is. We spend like 36 times checking our emails. We have about 56 disruptions per day. And a lot of our time is actually not really focused. So we want to eliminate these triggers of distraction. All right. And, you know, for me, how I do that is I actually switch off my phone. So when I'm in, I guess I call it deep work, you know, in the morning, what I do is I set aside a good 2 hours to nut out the nuts and bolts of my business. And I switch off more my phone. And because everyone's, you know, asleep, I don't get any, you know, distractions. And what I do is I block out certain times for my emails, my social, my Slack, and communicating with my team, because everything else I just block out. All right. And unless it's like life and death and people that have my personal number, they'll call me a few times. But otherwise, I just enforce really clear boundaries with, you know, either my family, my loved ones, or even like my friends. And I make sure I get the outcome done. All right. And then something that was really, really game changing for me, guys, was it's called the theory of liberating constraints. And what is it is that sometimes we actually have, it's called like having too many options. And what do is we remove choices by imposing limitations in areas of our life that can create like greater freedom in all areas that matter. So for example, you'll see like a lot of times I just have like a basic white shirt or a polo and I'll just wear a suit jacket. Okay. And that actually anchors me into state because I know, hey, it's for me to work in business. I'm pretty monotonous with my training and my diet. I set up a consistent wake up time and a bedtime. And we won't talk about morning, evening routines, but it is important as well to have that consistency in your life, in your business as well. Because one thing I learned is that the more friction you have in your business, okay, it actually requires more energy and more resources to create the same results. All right. And, you know, we'll even talk a little bit about someone's actually previously asked me what's my morning routine. So I'll quickly share it with you guys. And what it is in my morning, like I said, I actually meditate a lot. I reflect, I journal. I move around a lot. So I love going to the gym first thing in the morning because it really does get me into state. You know, physiology, focus, and the language that we say to ourselves is all about our state. I'm really important about nutrition because you are what you eat. So for me, I used to be a wellness coach as well. I drink a lot of water, have some good protein and fiber where it's possible. And then before bed, guys, this is so important. I switch off like an hour before bed and I switch off my phone. I make sure there's no clear blue light that switches and it allows me to rest up and knows my brain allows me to like, just, I'm going back to bed or I'm resting my brain now. I don't drink caffeine, but I do supplement with like melatonin and magnesium. And like I said, before bed, just switch off because that will really help you guys out into being recharged and having this energy because like everything, you know, the quality of your life is the quality of your energy as well. Okay. And then lastly, guys, what I do well is I don't believe that multitasking sometimes really actually happens because what happens is you lose your focus. And what I do is I just focus on one task during that time. Okay. Because if you focus on doing too many things, in the end, you end up half-assing two things. All right. So the most important thing is I batch all my activities. So for example, if I'm chat sequencing for an hour. Okay. If I'm, you know, starting new conversations, I'm doing that, etc. And then this really helps me out with my productivity, guys. All right. And then lastly, I guess, yeah, let's stop screen sharing. And Dre, I'll stop screen sharing. And I've got a few more other things I was going to talk about, but you know, for me, this was like really important for me. Like, be the cheater. Like I think Noy said, yeah. You know, you don't need to work that many hours. Like for me, guys, when I did that, because you're in my pod, Dre, you understood how hard and how much energy I put into to receive that 100K. But I reflected a lot on that, and I realized, hey, I'm still able to achieve multiple 5 figures by working like 20 hours because I have systems in place in my business, as you've seen. And I've taken a massive step back in the last couple of weeks and still been able to achieve some really amazing results because I've become more aware of how I'm investing my time. Okay. And this also comes down to our internal alignment, which is our beliefs, our emotions, and our behaviors. All right. So hopefully this is a value, guys. And yeah, if there's any questions or anything that you guys want me to go through, please type in the chat screen. I'm here to serve you. And I want to give as much value back as possible as well, guys.
Alex, that was absolutely fire. Absolutely fire. That was just so good. And I made a couple of notes. Yeah, because remember, like we've had a couple of chats, and I said that when I knew that you were coming into P1, I said to a friend, I was like, Alex is going to absolutely, I'm not going to swear, friggin' like kill it. And like you meet people and you just know. And from like the conversations that we've had and like how focused that you are and like the focus, the discipline. And you said, I know you're not going to share all 4 secrets.
Hunger's the last one. Hunger. Like guys,
third one was hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it. And I could see that you were like focused where most people would have sort of excuses, you know, oh, this is going on, that's going on. And you've got to make a choice, you know, what is it that you really want at the time? So did you say you're going to share that 4th one?
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, focus, okay, discipline, and combined with hunger, all right, you're going to be successful in all areas of life. That's what I've learned because I've run different businesses, guys. And one thing I learned is that it is all about mindset because no matter, because with my events business, I was doing multiple 6, I was doing really well with it. But the challenge was that it wasn't actually fulfilling. I didn't really get a chance to really share a bit of my background. I got about 5 minutes, but you know, my belief, guys, is that life is the concept of duality. Okay. And I've shared with this because, you know, my story, and I'm going to be vulnerable here, is guys, during lockdown, it's probably the hardest period of my life. I lost my business. I lost my dad. I even lost my partner at the time, my girlfriend. And I need to go through some really dark times. Okay. Life humbled me and I had to rebuild myself. And how to do that? by taking the action every day. But I had to rebuild my mindset. And if you do have a 6-7 figure mindset, you just know what to do. And as an entrepreneur, you know, my belief is that we find a way. Okay. So remember how we set that goal, because you and I were both in that P100 Hustler group. You know, I'm so grateful for being invited to it. Is that my commitment and my promise? I made a promise to myself that I was going to do this, not just for myself, guys, but for my dad. He's my why. Like, my mission is to impact 100,000 lives. Okay. Growing up, my dad was such an amazing person, but he wasn't the best communicator. So that's something I'm working on. I want to be the best dad, the best husband, the best boyfriend, etc., etc. So I had to do that inner work myself. You know what I mean? I've done all the Tony Robbins programs. I've looked into, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza. As I'm attracting more healers, because here's the thing, Dre, I know you're a light worker, brother. Like, I love what you're doing. You know, this is something I wish I could partner you up with, because in the future, my business is going to be more of a social enterprise, and I want to donate and give back to the community. Okay. I'm just rebuilding myself at the moment, guys. But in the meantime, I appreciate you so much, because I know how much energy and how much time and resources you put into this whole week just to give back. And you're giving, you know, so many people the opportunity to give back as well. You know, not just to donate, but their time. Time is the most precious thing, like I said. And, you know, and like I said, we're doing this not just for ourselves, but to help raise more funds for Brett and Paul, who are two amazing people. You know, I've spoken to Brett a few times. He's such a funny guy, and I love Paul as well. He's such an amazing guy, and I've met his daughters. So, and to reiterate what I was saying, you know, Dre, you are a light worker, and your mission is to give back as well. And I see that. That's why you're doing this. And I'm so honored and grateful that I had this opportunity to share a bit about my story as well, because, you know, once again, in order to appreciate the good times, I had to go through some hard times myself. And this is what's sort of given me this light to do what I do as well, guys.
Bro, absolutely love you to bits. And yeah, it's really special. And it's funny that you say about the light worker thing. So Elisandra, so I think she's on tomorrow.
Yeah.
She's going to be talking about light workers. So
Love it.
pretty
I
interesting.
see it right in you, because as I'm evolving, because my niche at the start was helping young adults, and, you know, I did a lot of wellness, spiritual, but as I'm growing, guys, I'm attracting a lot of healers, and I know that's me. Like, I know I'm a very spiritual person, and as I keep growing and evolving, I'm attracting more spiritual people in my life. And, you know, the secret to living, guys, is giving. That's what fulfills me. Growth, contribution, impact. And this is what makes me happy and so fulfilled, because, as you know, Dre, you know, even doing that 100K month, you know, I should be so happy, but this is actually making me more happier, because I'm able to give back, and, you know, and doing it with you guys is absolutely amazing. So I feel so grateful to be able to do this.
All right. Any last words? We've got 3 minutes, and this is the last session before we move over to another stream. So any last words, anything motivational, inspirational?
Yeah, guys, I'd love to share. And if you guys want a copy of that template as well, just reach out to me and my team. I'm here to serve. I really want to keep growing and helping you guys as well. Love you, Paulie, as well, brother. Look forward to catching up again. You know what, Dre? You're the man here. I would love to hear a dad joke from you. Okay, I haven't heard from you too much. So yeah, from you, brother. Okay, it's your birthday soon. I've got a surprise for you. So give us one of your best dad jokes.
Oh, okay. It's probably not one of my best, so don't judge me. But why did the Roosters go to KFC?
I don't know. I've heard this one. Okay, I'd love to hear the answer.
To see the chicken strip.
Oh.
I know.
You know what? That is pretty good, actually. That is.
I can't hear it.
Oh, Dre, you're an absolute human being. You know, once again, I'm super grateful for you. I think everyone can share the same thoughts when we say, you know, you are such a beautiful human being. You've put in so much, and I, you know, won't share too much about the week you've had, but you showed up, you know, but that was an amazing joke. Everyone's laughing now. I love it. That's a good one, Dre. All right. Beautiful. Well, Dre, brother, I want to love and leave you.
Love you to bits.
Okay. Have an amazing day, guys, and I'll catch you guys soon. All right. Bye for now.
Man, that was Alex, and that was fire, guys. We are wrapping up. So that was the final mini masterclass for this session. So I'm going to be opening up another stream in about a minute's time. So this is closing down. And then if you're watching, depending where you're watching this on, if you're watching it on my Facebook or my YouTube or my LinkedIn, just another video is going to pop up, or if you are watching it on another coach's. So Jay Ibrahim is next on. So we're going to leave here, then open up, and I'll see you guys in a couple of ticks.